guys, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the STC number 133, a very special PTR edition. I'm of course your side VIP with here and joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chats as well. Welcome one and all as we jump into our fresh series. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back here yourselves. But now though, we are jumping into the round 16. The round of 16 here is spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss. It is Rebellion. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the pink Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Hatsu. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's delve into our initial best of 3 PvZ. Oh boy, there's a lot to get into. Of course, if you maybe have not been around for the past week, I mean, it's been 5 days since the PTR patch notes were dropped, but if you did miss out on it, we did cover it a couple of days ago on Friday during the podcast. We did have like an impromptu kind of like emergency podcast going over all the changes, going over the PTR itself, and something that we did mention, of course, at the end of said podcast was, hey, when it comes to the changes, look forward to seeing them, because there are going to be a lot of tournaments featuring said PTR, whether it's our tournaments. Pegastar Cup tomorrow morning is also going to be in the PTR. Likewise, Kung Fu Cups as well should also be on the PTR as well. The majority, I believe, and I believe next week Monday Night Weekly. True, next week Monday Night Weekly is also going to be in the PTR. So plenty of PTR tournaments are on the horizon here to test out all of these new changes. Let's go. Let us go. For now, we do have a gas first into pool here. We do have a much more aggressive start here from Hatsu, going for the early gas setup. Meanwhile, Rebellion back at home going for his own gate expand. So far, so good. I should also mention that originally we were going to be covering this tournament on the TLMC map pool, TLMC 22, but the TLMC maps have not yet been uploaded to the PTR, so we could not host this on the PTR on the TLMC map pool, so I do apologize for that. Instead, it is going to be the ladder map pool instead. So a bit of a feels bad, man. Regardless, we're back. It's been a while since but yes, we're back on Winter Madness and on the current ladder map pool. Behind this delayed expansion here, we have an early Link Flood out of Hatsu. We have enough gas for Link Speed, but interestingly enough, we have not actually begun Link Speed here. Okay, and when it comes to some of the big changes here, of course, when it comes to the game itself, the big one is the economy change, and also how Protoss works in regards to Warp Gate and the Warp Gate mechanic as well. And we see why there's no Link Speed roaches. We're going to be going for an early roach all-in, an early roach rush. Once again, hyper aggression. The early Lings will be ideally denying the scouts and keeping Rebellion busy back at home, when really the real danger is going to be roaches. For now, Rebellion does deflect the early Lings. We do have the Stargate behind this before the expand, a very delayed Nexus, but there's a reason for this, right? Remember, Rebellion, he did scout the delayed expansion, he sold the early gas, the early pool, so delaying the Nexus here does make plenty of sense. It's on par here, and sure, the economy is going to be delayed, but Hatsu's economy is also left by the wayside as well. So a very safe follow-up here out of Rebellion should be opening up Oracle, and if can confirm what's going on, can reinforce with Void Rays as well. True. Link Speed has been started, actually. Interesting. So it is going to be a Roach Ling all-in here out of Hatsu. Going to be reinforcing with Zerglings and rushing across the map with Roaches. The goal is not to drone, not to expand. It is a complete all-in here from Hatsu. Back at home, Rebellion, Void Ray first. Ooh, okay, very safe play here by Rebellion. Rebellion still has incomplete information, but here comes the first Adept, does move in, and the Adept will be able to confirm what he sees, he scouts, does confirm the roaches. Rebellion knows. And with Void Rays, Rebellion has the ideal defense. Nothing here shoots up, and there's going to be 2 Void Rays to defend. Batteries on the way as well. Nexus alongside this, so when Rebellion holds, he's going to have an economy behind it to sustain himself. Second pylon to keep everything powered. Sentries out here to force field as well. And if you notice, Warp Gate is not going to be a factor here, but we don't need a Warp Gate, not where we're going, as the Void Rays should focus on the roaches. There we go, there's a Pulsar Beam. Gets 1 roach already, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, it's going to get all 4. The battery does maintain the wall as well. We're going to try to preserve these roaches by morphing them into Ravagers, but they're going to be targeted down as well. They get targeted down. And with that, GG gets cooled, the all-in does fail, and Rebellion will defend, and we'll take game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, Rebellion, he did scouts early on, was able to confirm the late expansion, so Rebellion played safe. He played safe, went for a delayed Nexus, early Stargate, early Void Ray, was ideal. Was ideal. GG all played. Rebellion shuts down the all-in, and now we're getting into game numero dos. Let's go. Show me the game 2. Just catching up with the chat. The show the pants. Oh no. Show the pants. Ay. Yes. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. New music, yes, that's maybe the biggest change of the patch. Is if you remember, new music and new OSTs have been added to the in-game soundtrack. They were already in the game and we already used to hear them during StarCraft Evolution, but now they've also been added to regular games. It's expanded soundtrack. Biggest part of the patch. True. It's huge, Pappy. It's huge. But here we go. We're going to be loading into the Old Republic. And spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing among SSG people, leading the series 1-0. It is Rebellion. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Pink Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Hatsu. Let's go. Let us go, as we are going to be opening up, as we are going to be settling in. And once again, we'll keep an eye on the initial opener here from Hatsul. So far we are just droning, we're just saturating. Last game we saw a very early gas geyser. Once again though, when it comes to openers, players are still trying to figure themselves out a little bit here when it comes to timings, ideal gas timings, ideal pool timings, and ideal hash timings when it comes to early game aggression, greedier builds, safer builds. It will take some time for all of that to really settle in, especially because again the PTR has been live for 5 days. It's been less than a week. It's been less than a week here since the PTR has been live, so very limited practice so far. We discussed this during our podcast, talking about how there is going to be a period of time where players are still kind of like trying to figure things out before we have our efficient openers and kind of more the meta game, especially in the early game, does kind of stabilize and settle down. There's going to be a period where the early game is going to be a little bit more in flux, so we might see some more inefficient openers as well. I know a lot of players have been grinding quite heavily on the PTR as well in regards to testing. I know there's been a lot of thoughts, a lot of concerns raised as well when it comes to early game aggression. I know that Lorimbo, he did end up making a post on TL and on Reddit, going a little bit more into detail when it comes to early cheese and early aggression. If you know anything about Lorimbo, he is, one of, if not the cheesiest Zerg player in Europe. Very, very cheesy, very aggressive, very all-in as a player, and he's been exploring a lot of that aggression quite a bit, and he has found that there aren't really many aggressive options, at least in ZVP and alongside that ZVT as well, but mainly ZVP is kind of what he explored and how he found a lot of difficulties when it comes to early pool timings and early gas timings. And they found that it's more difficult to pull off than in the live version of the game, at least again specifically in regards to early cheese and early aggression. So that is also something to bear in mind. Early on here, we do have initial hatches. We're going to be opening up in a much more standard fashion compared to previously. Meanwhile, Rebellion does go for the gate, expand into Cybercore. Standard opener out of Rebellion. Now, when it comes to gateway changes here, and when it comes to warp gate changes to Protoss, we do have a big change here to warp gate. Basically, what we should be seeing here is a delay on warp gate, and likewise, we shouldn't really be warping in many gateways themselves into warp gates. Basically, the warp gate upgrade now is on the gateway, not on the Cybercore, and now once it's research, it does increase gateway unit production by, was it what, 33 or 35%? I think it's 33. So your gateways produce units much faster, but there's a cost to warp them into warp gates themselves. Typically what this means, at least theoretically, is that we shouldn't really be seeing warp gates until the mid game, until you've stabilized on 3 bases. So until then, you're going to be a little bit more limited when it comes to aggressive options from the side of Protoss, or I should say you're going to be a little more committed if you do commit into like into an early all-in, say Twilight Council opener into Glaive Adepts or Twilight Council opener into DTs. There's a bigger commitment to get into that. But when it comes to the mid game, that is when the Protoss players can be stronger. The reasoning for this is because the warp in mechanic has been improved. Once you have all your warp gates up and running, you no longer need a proxy gateway. Now you just need a pylon for fast warp ins, and it means that you can throw down pylons out across the map. Also, the warp in itself is faster than previously, so really fast warp ins with harder to scout pylons does allow for a much more aggressive mid game, but again, it does take a little bit longer to get into once you get all your warp gates up and running. That's going to be getting to that point. That's going to be where there's going to be a bit of a difference when it comes to the PTR itself and achieving that. In general, though, I do think the Protoss players are because of the PTR and because of the changes, I think Protoss players are more prone to be more defensive now, even more so than previously, where especially because it takes a lot longer to invest into all your warp gates, there's a higher chance you stay on regular gateways, and then you just turtle up and get up to 3 bases and then up to 4 bases, and then you have a much more secure setup before kind of exploding in the mid game as well. But again, a lot of that is a little bit more theoretical. That's one of the reasons why we have the PTR for testing for all these tournament games as well. For now, Oracle first. Oracle does move out. It does catch 1, 2, 3 drones already. Very nice catch here from Rebellion. Behind this, it is going to be Stargate into Void Ray into our initial opener to hunt down Overlords, to expand, claim a 3rd base, and settle in towards the mid game. Oh, that is different. Double Forge. Double Forge, double upgrades, a very strong upgrade timing here. Now, I'm used to seeing double Forge and upgrade timings with a Bay follow-up, Robo into Bay into Colossus. We'll see if he sticks with purely a Gateway composition or if he does go into a Robo composition. But this is quite greedy out of Rebellion. Meanwhile, on the flip side of things, Hatsu going for Lair first. Lair before Evo Chamber. No Chamber, no Roach Warren, no Hydroden. Of course, this is no Lair. Lair is now done, and with this, we can go into early tech. Oh, sorry, my apologies. I did miss the early Roach Warren behind the mineral line. We are going to a Roach heavy composition. Interesting. So no Evo Chamber, no upgrades. Hatsu might opt to go for an aggressive build once again. Hatsu is known for being hyper aggressive as a player, so we'll see if Hatsu commits into an early timing. We'll see if we cut workers at some point early on. So rushing into Roach speed, Void Ray does run away the initial queens. Behind this, Twilight Council for our tech of choice. We're imagining Blink, but we'll see if we go into Charge and into Storm. It's going to be Charge. Okay, Charge into Storm is a higher chance of occurring here. It's going to be quite a strong 1-1 timing. And then again, 2-2 timing thereafter. Meanwhile, Hatsu does invest into early Roach speed, but we're not going pure Roach, we're going to Roach Hydra. Okay, so Hatsu still needs to drone. We still need to drone up on our 3 bases. The droning here is still a little bit lacking for Hatsu, so we got some ways to go to fully build up. Likewise, behind this, Temple Archives is on the way. As we mentioned, Charge into Storm is the tech of choice here for Rebellion with those incredibly fast upgrades. Now, there is going to be timing available for Hatsu, where Hatsu could maybe hit strike before Storm and all these upgrades really kick in. But if we fail to hit that timing, Rebellion is going to snowball out of control. It's going to snowball out of control, is just going to get out of hand and just overwhelm. Adepts, they do shade across the map. They bust into the middle line, getting 1, 2, getting to 3. Yeah, 3 drones going down. Can we get 4? Not quite. So far, nice damage. 3 drones going down. Behind this, Temple Archives is now done. Archons can morph in. No Storm is being researched yet. And again, still a lower gateway count. I mean, I say that we're getting up to 6, soon to be 8 gateways. So the gateway count is building up. And warp gates are morphing in. Oh, yeah, there we go. They're warping in some warp gates. Rebellion getting ready for his timing. 2-2 is now beginning. Oh. Is that a new sound effect? Did you hear that? Hold on. Yeah, that's new, right? I don't think I've heard that warping sound before for the Archon. It caught me off guard because I'm like, well, what's that? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's something that I hadn't noticed before. I don't know why they... I mean... I say I don't know why they did that. That sound was really loud and really noticeable, and I would imagine the rationale for that is to signify to your opponent that an Archon has finished morphing in. If, say, for example, you go for a DT-based opener, you pull away, you morph the DTs into Archons a little bit further out, because the sound effect of the Archon morphing in is more audible, then it notifies your opponent a little bit easier when they're nearby. I would imagine that's the rationale for that. In my mind, I'm thinking of like game mechanic wise, like why would you make something louder? I would imagine that would be the rationale behind it. If anything, maybe he just thought like, oh, it's just a cool sound. maybe that was all the thought behind it. But in my mind, like I would imagine that a louder sound like that it's for a reason? Question mark. Meanwhile, Hatsu does it up, does drone, does saturate up to 3 bases. Now we're committing 63 workers under 3 base saturation, no 4th expansion, and we're committing across the map here with our Roach Hydra. And is there Storm? The answer is no. Storm was delayed. It took a while for Storm to begin here. Without Storm, there is a chance. There is a chance. Storm is not yet ready. Hatzel moving in, denies the 4th base. Very nice. Now can we get into the High Templar? Can we get in? Oh, gets one. Yeah, he gets one Templar so far. Barely doesn't get within range of the others. Yeah, the 4 Templar do back off. We should keep going. Hatzel backs off. Storm now finishes. I feel like there was value in chasing just because Hatzel doesn't have the best economy. Remember, we're under 3 base saturation. We have no 4th expansion. Backing off and macroing from here. Technically, Rebellion has a better economy. He's on 72 probes. He's on 72 workers, getting a 4th base. This was the time for Hatzel, and to back off in that moment gives Rebellion time to stabilize, and not just stabilize, but get further ahead. 3-3 upgrades are on the horizon here. Again, we spoke about this earlier. The upgrade lead is insane. We're gonna have 3-3 by the time Hatzel has 1-1. Like it's gonna be too much. So a bit of a missed opportunity there from Hatzel. Not saying that Hatzel would have killed 100%, but that was the timing, right? That was the timing. That was the moment. And to pull away, it's a bit of a shame. Like, Hatzel is maxed out, but again, this army does not scale well into a longer game. It's very Roach heavy, and the longer this game goes on, the better it is for the Protoss. We gotta send it. And for now, denying some of the batteries. Storm is done. Oh, good. Hatzel has to be very careful with army movement. Fleet beacons on the way, getting into Sky Toss. 1-1 now finishing up a Hatzel. Again, 3-3 is on the horizon for Rebellion. Brutal Zealot around my Hatzel's completely out of position. Yeah, Hatzel racing back over to defend. Drone's going to be going down. 8, 9, 10 workers. Critical damage being dealt already, even catching out some of the queens. Oh, never mind. We're going for the upgrades. Okay. Never mind. Queens do survive. Transfuse will keep the Eva Chamber alive a little bit longer here as the entire army races back home to defend. And we should say +1, at least. And +1 is going to be saved, which is nice, I suppose, but behind this Rebellion, again, is working towards the Mothership. Mothership is on the way, Immortals are amassing as well. +3 is about to complete, which means now we can start working on shield upgrades as well and work on 3-3-3. Hive is done for Hatzel, and Hatzel's working on Ultras. I mean, there is potential with Ultra Tech, that is true. What is hurting, though, is the economy, especially after losing 8+ drones, right? After losing all the... You can see here, 0 saturation at the 3rd base. We're just now joining up the 4th. No, as the army comes in, and the 4th base is going to fall alongside every worker. And once again, Hatzel out of position. We're racing back on over, completely out of position. The base will fall, and Rebellion is just snowballing out of control from here. Oof. Do you see Hatzel trying to intercept? Coming in from behind. Can we get on top of the High Templar? I mean, there's plenty of storms. Oh, no. Yeah, plenty of storms here. Oh god, we tagged the storms to the face, papi. Ay. Yeah, we take the storms to the face. Critical damage. With that Rebellion, he pulls away. We have some ultra production underway, but remember, there is no kindness plating. There are no upgrades. The 4th base did go down. Hatzel stuck on a 2-base economy, 37 workers, and Zealots, they just keep rolling in. They just keep on rolling in. They bust into mineral lines. They bust into the main. More critical damage. And again, I will say that Hatzel had that window. Like, there was that window where Storm was only halfway done, the armor was stuck on the low ground. Like, that was that moment for Hatzel. But again, that moment has come and gone. It's come and gone. Now we have 10% massing, 2 more robos. Rebellion claiming another expansion, claiming a 5th base further forward. Once again, I'm still not getting used to the sound of the warpin. It sounds very... It sounds out of place, right? Like, it just... I don't know. It just... it sounds kind of weird. It sounds out of place because you'd expect the sound of warping in Archons to be similar to the sound of, like, I don't know, warping in gateways, for example, right? Like... Sounds weird, but GG gets called, the army does crumble, and Rebellion will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations, Rebellion will claim the series. Shout out to Hatsu. Again, I will say that there were definitely some opportunities for Hatsu for sure, where there were some timings available. Once again, I'm not saying that Hatsu would have won the game pushing up that ramp into the third base, but like that would have been the time to do so. And I also don't blame Hatsu because Rebellion was going for a very greedy build as well, going for fast double forge, fast double upgrades. Again, 3-3 when Hatsu had 1-1. That was insane when it came to the greed of the follow-up here, which is very abnormal. It's not very standard, is what I should say. Not very standard. It's not something you go up against too often. GG well played. With that, Rebellion does advance on, and let's catch up on the bracket itself. Let's go. Let us go. Coming into this, we do have our bracket. We have our round of 16. It is currently ongoing. We have Hackerstall versus Camo in the first round. We have Geralt versus Roxas, Perceive versus Kaio, and Rebellion versus Hatsu. So with that, Rebellion will advance on and face off against YoungYakov. I intentionally did want to try to focus on ZVPs. So it's Rebellion versus Hatsu, ZVP into YoungYakov. I do think that this is one of the matchups that probably deserves a little bit more attention, especially when it comes to the changes to the PTR. Of course, the big thing is Protoss with the change to the gateways, with the change to their production cycles, like I feel like needs to be shown. Likewise, Zerg with potentially more greater options in the early game, like that's kind of what I'm focusing on. But of course, we'll get to Terran later on. We have ByuN and Nicoract up there in the upper quarterfinals. Higher chance, oh sorry, I was going to say higher chance that they face off in the TVT, but Geralt is up there as well. Geralt, he did take some time off. He did go on a bit of a break, but recently has returned, and Geralt's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty damn good here. So that's going to be a spicy matchup in the next round. Geralt versus Nicoract, the potential Perceive versus Krystianer, Hackerstall versus ByuN, and of course our Rebellion versus YoungYakov. Let's go. So we're going to be focusing on this portion of the bracket, bearing in mind that both semifinals will be casted, as you can see here, both on stream. So regardless of who makes it to the upper or lower semis, we'll be covering both series. We got you. We do have you. Let's go. For now, I do need a moment to set up our players. Set up our players, set up our matchup. Un momento. Beautiful. Okay, so Vita's on the way. Once again, I should reiterate that originally the plan was... Originally, the plan was to host this event in the PTR TLMC map pool, but again, the Team Liquid map contest maps have not been uploaded to the PTR, so just using the regular ladder map pool instead, just as a heads up. As a heads up. Un momento. As Vitas are done, and we're jumping to game number 1, going to be on Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up in the chat. I think it's sound more sparkly, for sure, for sure. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Team Stouty Bulls. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing among his two people. It is Rebellion. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's delve into our initial best of 3. Let's go. Let us go here. And I'm curious to see how many games YoungYakov has been grinding here on the ladder, on the PTR. When it comes to our next matchup, YoungYakov is more favored. He definitely is a little bit more, I mean, he's very aggressive in the early to mid game as well when it comes to ZVP. We'll see how Rebellion can hold his own against YoungYakov. Hoping for a back and forth though. Hoping for that back and forth. So now we are going to be taking our natural. Going hatch first. Likewise, we should be seeing a gate expand here from Rebellion. Probes got across the map to confirm the hatch timing, to confirm the lack of gases. Just to make sure that there's no early gas or early pull. Rebellion pokes in and goes further into the main just in case. So with that, he'll be notified, so you can just go for his own Nexus. Just calm down. Oh, it's going to be a hatch pool opener here at a YoungYakov. Okay, interesting. Again, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground. As a result, we do often see a lot more mid-game and mid to late game play on Winter Madness. Zerg players, they do often try to all in and cheese and end the game before getting to that point. So that's why our eyes are mainly going to be on YoungYakov, as he does go for a delayed gas geyser. Still gas is being taken, but much later here for our Zerg player. This will mean delayed link speed, and we might even skip link speed and go into another tech choice. See what he goes for. Likewise, Rebellion back at home, standard opener, calming down. And from here, we're going to be calming down and saturating our bases. Just catching up in the chat. I very rarely have anything really to say about the game. I think that's in regards to the sound effect. Yeah, I'm curious if there's... Was that in the... Hold on. Was that in the PTR patch notes? Was it like in the bug fixes or something? Hold on. Fix an issue where the Archon lacks several visual and audio indicators. Birth sound. That's what it says. I mean, technically correct, but it's just verbiage that I did not expect. But it is in the bug fixes of the PTR. It is in the article. Hold on, I'll post it in the chat. Bam. Fix an issue where Archons lack several visual and audio indicators of the birth sound, splash damage, impact visuals, movement sound, and attack physics. Yes, the Archon has been birthed. It's really weird because the verbiage typically used for an Archon is merging, right? It's you say that the two-eyed Templar, they merged together. You don't say they gave birth to an Archon. Like it's just a really strange word to use there. But sure. They literally say merging complete. Nah, they birthed the Archon together, papi. True. Aye. But yes, it is in the patch notes. It's easy to miss because there's a massive list of quote unquote bug fixes, and apparently that was a quote unquote bug fix. But now Void Ray. Stargate opening into Void Ray. Meanwhile, YoungYakov just going hatch gas full, saturating his own natural, claiming a third base as well. Everything's looking normal. We can see that link speed isn't researched, but we stayed in gas. We did stay in gas here, so with this extra gas income, curious to see if we go for a faster lair or into an Evo chamber into +1 melee. Meanwhile, Void Ray first is interesting to me. This means less harassing damage, of course. We can use this to deflect the links, to hunt down overlords, but scouting is going to be a little bit more limited here for Rebellion as he opens up with a second Void Ray. Okay, you have my attention. Usually, if you go for a Void Ray opener, it's just one. It's just one Void Ray to hunt down overlords, and then behind it you go Twilight Council or Fleet Beacon. Instead, going second Void Ray, second Stargate. We're setting up a mass Void Ray. Oh, it's 2020 all over again, papi. Let's go. Let's. I have some repressed memories, or not even repressed. They're there. The memories are there regarding, 4 to 5 Void Rays showing up and then just sniping the main and then backing off. Like, Void Ray openers used to be a lot more common back in the day. Here we can see Rebellion testing it out here, and he will catch an overlord. What goes down, pulls away, is lair first out of YoungYakov, going for the early Roachhorn. No Evo chamber, no upgrades, earlier lair, earlier Roachhorn. We'll see what YoungYakov gets into. We'll see if he commits into mass roaches, as that Roachhorn so far is hidden from the Void Rays. As we continue massing on Void Rays back at home. Now, this can lead one of two ways. Either mass Void Ray into Fleet Beacon, into Void Ray Speed, into Sky Toss, or mass Void Ray into a Twilight Council, into Charge Lots, into a ground focus army to support the Zealots, which we have seen from Hero, for example, going mass Charge Lot Void Ray. And there it is, Twilight Council. So Forge into +1, Twilight Council into Charge. So it looks like it is going to be that quote-unquote Hero style. I don't know if he made it, but I know that he did popularize it for a time, going mass Void Ray into Charge Lots. As we're getting into that though, roaches are amassing. +1 range on the way, roach speed on the way. YoungYakov is still squeezing out workers here, so it looks like just to save the amount of roaches, we're still droning, still saturating, we're still building up into the mid game, and I don't think this amount of Void Rays have been revealed yet, until now. Okay, here we go. Ooh, a couple of Void Rays are spotted by the Zergling. Up until this point, these 3 Void Rays were kept at home, and now they're being revealed for the first time. And can we focus on the expansion? Can he get the lair? How many queens? 5. 5 queens. They're all spread out. They're mainly at the 3rd. Can we focus on the expansion? Goes for the Eva Chamber. Okay, doesn't go for the lair. The Eva Chamber is going to go down. A nice pickup. Denies the upgrade. If the Spore wasn't there, there's a chance we might have gotten a dive on the lair itself. Would have been risky to try to bring it down, though. Regardless, denies the upgrade, and bam, Spire. Spire instantly going to be thrown down. We have additional Void Rays on the way. Roach is forced to counterattack, and YoungYakov, what can he bring down before it gets cleaned up? As Void Rays, they race back home. And remember, there are no warp gates, so there's no reactive warp in. Yeah, without a reactive warp in, there's going to be nothing to defend here. We just break down the front door. Void Rays are trying to keep up. Gateways, they're not producing. We can't make anything. Yeah, we cannot make anything. The Chosis Pylon goes down, but the Void Rays do defend. Okay. Void Rays defend. Mining is going to be denied at the natural, but honestly, this could have been a lot worse. This could have been so much worse. Again, the lack of warp gates was concerning when it comes to defenses, but hey, the Void Rays, they hold their own. That's a lot of Void Rays. We have how many? 8 Void Rays so far. 8 Void Rays into Temple Archives, into Storm. We still haven't reached that Gateway Explosion yet, but we're getting there. We're almost there. Mutaplay. Interesting. I mean, did we scout the main? We did. So, in the main base, what do we see? Twilight Council and the Temple Archives. This screams, and also because the common follow-up here from Void Ray is Charge Lot, there's a very high chance, from YoungYakov's perspective, there's no Blink, right? There's a very high chance there's no Blink Stalkers, so going to Mutas does make sense here. Void Rays are much more immobile. There is a chance here for Mutas to avoid the Void Rays, to bust into Mineral Lines, and to get economic damage done. To get economic damage done. Yo, what is this soundtrack? I feel like this is too serene for this game, but sure, it's... I'm curious to hear, like, what songs we rotate through. Okay, now we're ramping up. Okay. There we go. Mutas are amassing. 3rd Stargate's on the way. There are some Archons on the ground to support, for sure. Mutas, they make the way into the natural. There's no battery. There's no... I mean, there was no scouting. Remember, Rebellion, he has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. Mutas, they do hit the mineral line. Going for the Chosis Pylon once again. Does go for the pylon. Depower some of the gateways. Hits the mineral line. That's a lot of probes going down. Void Rays is so late to react, so late to respond. And 9 probes falling. Does get 1. Does get 2 voids. Has to respect the Archons. But so far, good damage. So far, the damage has been done. Behind this, we're going for the full switch into Phoenixes. It will take some time. Mutas, they rotate over. We have Link support on the ground. Roaches as well. And can we deny the 4th? Oh, does dive once again. Yeah, gets to the Void Ray. Takes down the cannon. Lings, they hit the 4th expansion. And Mutas, they have to be careful. Yeah, they're going to be chased down. Yakov actually committing to more Muta production, and he will kill the expansion. This is what matters here. Kills the 4th. Yeah, kills the 4th base. Again, abusing the immobility here at Rebellion. Does take down 1 more Void Ray, but a lot of Mutas go down in the process. That was a rough trade. That was a very rough trade for YoungYakov, but the Grand Army! The Grand Army breaks through the front door, takes down the Zealots, takes down the Archon, and can we get into the mineral line? We can. Yeah, we can get in. Breaks through the Zealots, gets into the mineral line. Lings, they do flood in, and this is going to be critical damage. The 4th base is fallen, the 3rd base is fallen as well. Eventually, the Void Rays will kill everything eventually, but by the time they do, what's going to be left? What's going to be left back? Ay. And again, this is an outside of relying on purely Stargates. We do have a couple of Warp Gates now finishing up, but it does feel too little too late. Too little too late here. As the 3rd may go down. It's going to be close. Can we get it? Can we get it, Bappy? 200 HP. Oh my god, Lings, they do trickle in. 150. 10-0. There we go. The 3rd base goes down. Massive pick of Rebellion stuck on 2 expansions, stuck on 2 bases, and he just cannot stabilize from here. Behind this, YoungYakov, 87. 87 workers, a mass economy, a mass amount of bases, building up his own Roach Hydra. Hydra Den is on the way. We have a couple of Corruptors to help out against the Void Rays, or specifically to help out against the Phoenixes. So the Corruptors have been sprinkled in. Hydras are building up, and Rebellion just cannot recover from this moment from here. Behind this, there's no Storm, there's no tech. If we had a Solar Economy, then Storm would be on the way, a greater Archon, a greater High Templar count as well, a greater ground army. Here we're mainly stuck with Skytoss, but it's a very flimsy Skytoss army with very little support on the ground. We just can't afford it. We cannot afford it. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Luis GGG. Luis, gracias, gracias. Bienvenidos. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. For those who don't know, Luis, he is a Terran player, does stream a lot of his ladder. And thank you so much. Thank you so much here for the raid. Do appreciate it. We'll get into some Terran later on. Don't you worry. We have ByuN in the bracket. We have Nicoract in the brackets. We'll be casting some Terran players later on in the broadcast. But now we have our PVZ. And Yakov is moving in for the kill. He's going in for the kill. Lings a peel up in towards the 4th. Again, there is no storm, so there's no Templar to worry about. We don't have to worry about splitting. We can just commit. And we can just commit in. Oh. As Rebellion technically does defend his 4th base. True. The 4th base is slowly getting up and running. But again, there's just barely a ground army here to support. We got 2 Archons. We got 3 Archons now. 3 Archons have arrived. We have a couple of Zealots as well. Yakov just rallying everything across the map. We be rallying. Oh. Takes out the initial Archon. There's still 2 left here, and again, they tank as best they can, but they're still going down. All 3 Archons full. We start to step in, and with that, Rebellion has been broken. He has been broken. He's down to 1, Void Ray down to 0. He's got 2 Phoenixes, a handful of Zealots, and we just rally. We just rally, and GG gets called the Queen's Waddle in as well, and YoungYakov will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Yakov, he will claim a lead in the series. And again, a really interesting build here by Rebellion, going Void Ray into quadruple Void Ray, double Stargate. I will say a lot of this came down to the initial Void Ray timing. Remember, the 4 Void Rays revealed themselves and they were unscouted, and it looked like the goal was to kill the hatchery, but they settled on the Evo chamber, and they did deny +1, but there wasn't really much else gained from there. That triggered a counterattack. In the end, the natural was exposed, forced him to defend back at home. It led into a more shaky defense, into a strong timing, of course, which eventually broke the 4th expansion. A lot of it did come down to lack of scouting, though. Remember, what did we see? Mass Muta, right? It was Roaches into Spire into Mass Muta, which went unscouted. One of the big reasons why this was unscouted, though, is because there were no oracles. Remember, it was a Void Ray opener, not oracle, so very limited scouting information out of the Protoss player. Didn't know that mutas were coming, didn't know that Mass Muta was going to hit his natural, so he was woefully underprepared. GG. That's one of the risks you take when you open up Void Ray like this, is your scouting information is much more limited without oracles, as you're stuck producing nothing but Void Rays. But here we go, spawning in the right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself leading the series 1-0, representing Stowny Bulls. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. Let's go. Let us go. So we're now getting into game 2. Welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is I would say a little bit smaller than Winter Madness, of course. Has a shorter rush distance by ground, but not the shortest, not by any means, not compared to Tourmaline or Ruby Rock or 10,000 feet, for example. But what's more important here is how open the 3rd and 4th base are. It has very open expansions. We've seen many a player attempt and struggle and fail to defend the 4th expansion. Whether it's this low ground 4th base or the linear 4th base, it's a little more further away. There's a little more space and distance in between your bases, or it's a little more open and exposed here on the low ground and multiple attack options as well. We have seen many a player struggle here, and in general we do favor we favor Zerg players denying and breaking a Protoss attempting to get a 4th base. That's typically the dynamic here. Not saying it's impossible to defend the 4th, but it is quite difficult. What we have seen be quite successful from top Protoss players is to be aggressive on this map. What is going on? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, Abby. We do not wall off at all. A 2-gate opener out of Rebellion, and we're rushing into warp. Oh, we're going for a 4-gate. So this is one of the new builds. Now, what did we mention earlier? Warp Gate is now on the gateway, so you don't need a Cyber Core. So you can rush Warp Gate, we get 2 gateways back at home. And what did we say at the start of the broadcast? One of the big changes here for Protoss is that the warping mechanic has been buffed. What does that mean? That means that you only need 1 pylon for speed warpings, for fast warpings. You don't need a proxy anymore, you don't need a gateway alongside it. And even if we had a gateway, the warping in the PTR is faster than the warping in the live game when it comes to warp gates. So again, we're going to be warping in 3, I'm imagining 4 warp gates into just an all-in across the map, and we'll see if YoungYakov can be... Oh, he's in the main! He gets scouted. The pylon's in the main base, he gets scouted. Spine Crawler is on the way here for YoungYakov. Getting his spine up and running. It's going to be 3 gateways back at home, not 4 gates. Warp gate is almost done, and we can warp in instantly here across the map. But we still need to warp in the rest of the warp gates, though. Here we go. We have 3 warp gates warping in. Pylon is under fire. Can we save it? Can we save the pylon? What is it, 3 seconds? Yeah, 3-second warp in. Zealot will finish. And we have to wait for the cooldown to come off. As we're getting another pylon. Okay. We're getting more pylons. Yeah, more pylons. So it's going to be always 1 base 3 gate all in. We're waiting for another warp in. So far the Zealot hold their own. Getting us over the queen. The boys are being pulled. And here comes another warp in. Here comes another warp in, just barely. It's going to be close, but the Spine Crawler adds so much DPS here. That Spine Crawler is the backbone of the army, and with that, all the Zealots should go down. Yeah, it takes down 3, 4, soon to be 5 Zealots, and with that, the all-in is failing. Again, YoungYakov, he was so quick to start his Spine Crawler once he saw that pylon. You know what that tells me? That tells me that he's run into this on the ladder before. To have the instant Spine Crawler reaction here, so he's been cheesed out before. Bad. He takes out both pylons, 2 Spine Crawlers up and running as well. We did get 1 more warp in on the low ground with there are 3 Zealots left, but YoungYakov, he's perfectly fine against this. Perfectly fine. GG gets called, the all-in fails, and YoungYakov, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. I appreciate that Rebellion was able to whip out something very unique to the PTR because of the warp gate, because of the new warp in mechanic. Like, he was able to showcase this instead, but again, based on the reaction here, at least from my perspective, it looks to me like YoungYakov has played against that before. It looks like he's been cheesed before, because it was so quick to get that Spine Crawler up and running. And again, without that spine, I can see that working. I can see the Zealots overwhelming. Not just that, I should also say, if the pylon wasn't scouted, remember, it all began because the pylon was scouted in the main base. If that had gone unseen and unscouted, different story, right? Like, suddenly there's no Spine Crawler, there's no extra links to defend, and suddenly we get extra warp-ins. We can even hide the Zealots, get a second warp-in going, and then I can see that working for sure, 100%. But GG well played. With that, YoungYakov, he scouted, he responded, and with that, YoungYakov, he will claim the series. Let's go. GG well played. Whew. And with that, YoungYakov, he'll advance on into the next round, and we are waiting for our next opponents. Let's catch up on the bracket itself. From the top, Hacker's Top takes down Camo 2-1 to advance on against ByuN. So ByuN versus Hacker's Top is ongoing. We have Geralt takes down Roxas 2-0. We have Geralt versus Nicoract, currently mid-series. We have Perceive takes down Kayo 2-0. Perceive is up against Krystianer, and of course the winner of that series will go up against YoungYakov in the next round. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Perceive versus Krystianer to wrap up, and then we'll follow that player into Yakov here. There's a higher chance it's going to be Krystianer versus Yakov. Krystianer, he is a multi-time Tuna Cup champion. I want to say he's won the most Tuna Cups, if not the second most. It's Krystianer and ByuN. Krystianer and ByuN, they've both won the most Tuna Cups in the history of our tournaments, in the history of StarCraft. So those are the 2 that we expect to make it through. But we'll see if Nicoract, Geralt, Hacker's Top, YoungYakov, and Perceive can stop that from happening. We'll see. We shall see. As for now, we're going to be going on a short break. So just catching up with the chat. Just catching up. Yeah. I like the concept of warp tech on gateways, but you should need a cyber core to unlock the tech route. It seems like an oversight. The goal is to slow down the pace. That is one of the big criticisms about the patch, is that there are some things that tell us that they want something more aggressive in the early game, but there are other things that tell us they want things to be like a little bit slower. So it does feel like a little bit disjointed in a sense. I don't know if that's an oversight though. Like I would imagine that getting warp gates on the gateway and getting it out faster, I would imagine it's intentional just to like unlock more aggressive options. I would imagine, but also bearing in mind that because of the increase of resources in the main and the natural, just all bases period, it does mean that you can afford to like stay on a lower base count and have a more robust economy and be more defensive as well. So yeah, there's a bit of a give and take going on, and I think I would probably agree with that criticism, with the idea that they're kind of like they're pulling you in a couple of different directions when it comes to the patch notes and the PTR, and there's no like concise vision as to what the goal is. There are like multiple things that they're kind of like pushing for. But again, like ideally that's what the PTR is for, right? That's what these tournaments are for, to try to see kind of where things lie and the direction the players take, and how everyone kind of interacts with each other, right? What we can cook up, what works, what doesn't work, and the direction of where the patch would lead us ideally, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. For now though, again, we do have some downtime. We're going to be going on a short break. Currently all the other players are in game and they're all mid-series, so again our goal here is to wait for Krystianer and Perceive to finish and then follow the winner of that series into YoungYakov. That's the current plan. And once again, to reiterate, don't worry about the upper semis. Both semis will be casted, so if you want some ByuN actions, some Nicoract, some Geralt, some Hacker's Top, we'll get up there soon. We'll get there, we'll get there. But otherwise, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and we'll see you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals, the semi-finals here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 133 PTR edition. We are here, we are back, we have returned with our PVZ. Krystianer, he did take down Perceive, and now we have Krystianer versus YoungYakov. We have our best of three. If you're in the chat, to get ready here for the Gambas. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing on side. It is Krystianer. Not Rebellion. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself representing Stowny Balls. It is YoungYakov. Oh, that's what was said earlier. Hold on. I see. So it's showing the wrong name. Is this fixed? Huh. That's weird. Everyone is Rebellion. Predictions are working though, so if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Do apologize for the intros not showing the correct player. I don't know why that is. Yeah, I tried to refresh everything and not working, so hopefully that does settle down by the end of the series or by the end of the broadcast. We'll see us spawning again. We're jumping into our matchup, jumping into our best of three. Let's go. Let us go. Actually, I might just restart the client. We'll see if that works. If I do this, hey, there we go. There we go. Just have to restart it. We're good. We're good to go here. For now, we do have our initial hatch pool opener here. Once again, delayed gases at YoungYakov. We saw this last time. Meanwhile, across the map, we have Krystianer just going for his own gate expand as well, confirming no early gas, no early pool timing, confirming that everything's looking as it should be. So now we can settle into our initial openers. So far, so good. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Standard openings out of our players. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock has a shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on this map, and we typically favor a player like YoungYakov when it comes to the mid to late game, when it comes to being hyper aggressive. Now, something that I was trying to get into previously was that typically Protoss players have been, or where they've had success in the current live version of the game, is being the aggressive themselves and taking that aggressive potential away from the Zerg player, going for early Twilight Council follow-ups into faster blink. But with the changes here to the production, with the changes to the gateway units, going Stargate into Twilight Council, into Forge, into +1 and Blink Stalkers, it feels so much more difficult to get into, or at least there's a lot more to invest into to get all your gateways up and running to be active on the map. So again, like, my issue, or at least what we're perceiving, or at least theoretically here, is that Protoss players are forced to be more defensive, and as a result, Zerg players can be more greedy coming into the mid game. They can take more expansions, they can drone up a little bit harder, there's less of a chance of them being punished for that. That's the first big concern, just because of the barrier behind getting into your gateways up and running. So it does feel like it's going to promote more defensive and more turtle heavy play, at least getting into the mid game. Once you get into the mid game, different story, but getting to that point is going to be a bit of a challenge here, and we'll see how Krystianer will approach this. We'll see how greedy YoungYakov is going to be. Here we go. So now we have our Stargate open into the Oracle, double depth, they move that across the map. I would argue that, especially if these changes go through, Protoss players most likely, I can see them going for like Robo heavy openers instead, like Stargates into Robo. If you remember during the Altitude era, during when Altitude was in the map pool, that was actually a little bit more common to go for a delayed Twilight Council and to go for a faster Robo into, so it would be like Oracle into Immortal, into faster Bay, into Colossus, like things of that nature. But that made more sense on Altitude because the map was so much larger, right? It was a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. On these smaller maps, it's still going to be difficult to get away with a more like tech heavy follow-up like that. And we're going for it. Okay. It's a Robo. Going for the Robo into an earlier Twilight Council still. Okay. Interesting. Going for the earlier Council into a delayed expansion. We have 10 more links on the way behind this as we do apply some pressure here. The Oracle should be able to defend. Yeah, as the Oracle does turn back around. Focus on the Zerglings and we'll deflect. Yeah, it does deflect. I say that, yeah, we're running out of energy here. The Oracle on its own is not going to be enough, and there's no second Oracle on the way. And remember, YoungYakov, he knows this. Without a second Oracle, more Lings are arriving, and that gateway is going to go down. Lings, they flood in, and Krystianer, he has no defense. Doors open? Yeah, the wall's good. The wall's open. Going for the gateway, denying warp gates. And this is a punish due to lack of second Oracle. Just to emphasize that, because there's no second Oracle, there is no defense. Pylon goes down, gateway as well. Krystianer, who was trying to be a little bit more exploratory with his build by teching up, but this was too greedy. It was just too greedy in the end. So everything gets depowered, no gateway, no warp gates. Attempt at third, but already this is a disaster. Already this is just falling apart here for Krystianer. Oof. I feel like this is an example of just how crucial the early oracles are when you go for a Stargate opener, and how much you can be punished for skipping out of them. As behind this, we're going for Overlord Speed. This should be for Drop Lords. This should be for a German Taxi. So YoungYakov, he knows he's ahead. He knows he's killed 5 workers. He's delayed Warp Gate. He killed a gateway. He disrupted the opener itself. It's a messy start here from Krystianer. Yakov knows that now he can just push. I can just push and kill. So a very messy, very shaky start here from Krystianer. And he won't be able to get into his game. Or at least he shouldn't be able to. That's a better way of putting it. As here comes the Drop Lords, here comes the Taxi. So here we go. The Drop Lord does move out, so we have Lings, we have Roaches, everything's flooding across the map here, and I'll be very impressed if Krystianer can survive this. I'll be very impressed. As Lings, they bust in, the Oracle's doing what they can. Does catch a couple of Zerglings, but we'll lose the entire mineral line. Yeah. GG, GG. And with that, YoungYakov will take game at number 1. GG. Again, a rough start there for Krystianer. As he mentioned, he chose to go for a very tech-heavy follow-up after the Stargate. Went Oracle first into Robo, Twilight Council, Gateways. This meant that he had, this one meant that Warp Gate was going to be delayed, of course. It was later Warp Gate, but also he had no second Oracles. So with the Gateway going down, with Warp Gate being denied, I mean, that was game. That was game then and there. There was no way for Krystianer to actually claim that game or to advance on into the mid-game. There was nothing available. GG. GG, well played. But I do feel like this is, again, a bit of a learning curve when it comes to what can work and what can't work, when it comes to trying to adapt to the new production cycle and the new production setup here for Protoss players. Yeah, that was brutal. GG, well played. With that, so we're getting into game 2. Getting into game 2 here. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. Krystianer is smudging, Pappy smudging. Well, it's understandable. A game like that, it's brutal. And here we go. We're getting into game 2 here, and we'll see how Krystianer will adjust. Now we are loading into a larger map, but we're loading into Winter Madness. Loading into Winter Madness here. A larger map, longer rush distance. The chances of Krystianer being able to get up into his own build of choice here is going to be higher, but I feel like we need to adjust. Like, we can't we can't just get away with the one Oracle, baby. It's not going to work. Here we go, spawning in the top left hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. Oh, representing onside, it is Krystianer. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg player himself representing Stouty Balls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. And again, we'll see if Krystianer tries to go for the same build. I hope not. I hope that we try to adjust from here. Again, the greed of skipping our second Oracle and going into all this tech here, clearly that's something that cannot work or should not work in the current PTR state of the game. So hopefully we see something different out of our Protoss player. We'll see. We shall see. I think it doesn't reset mid-game. Yeah, I mean, thankfully it's fixed. Thankfully it's fixed. You can introduce the players correctly now. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Likewise, I know that tonight's going to be a busy night here. I know that the Warty tournament's also on the horizon as well, and a lot of players are playing in that. But again, the PTR events are kind of going to be ramping up here. Tomorrow morning, we have the Stegosaurus Cup, or the Pegasaur Cup, which is also going to be in the PTR. Looking forward to it. Hopefully soon we can get the TLMC maps uploaded onto the PTR. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. Like, I don't know if there's much value to see the changes on these older maps, especially when a lot of the older maps do kind of favor aggression, and it can be a little bit more like brutal because of that. We'll see. Oh, also, a bit of a PSA. Sorry, I almost forgot. If you're in the chat and if you haven't voted yet, the TLMC voting opened up a couple of days ago. I still haven't voted myself, actually. But it did open up on Friday. TLMC voting is now available, so you can vote if you're out there voting. If voting is important, so make sure you get votes in for what maps you want in the ladder. Make sure you vote. I have to as well. It's unfortunate that everything's happening at once, because I feel like everyone's attention right now is on the PTR, and it makes sense, like, deservedly so. At the same time, like, don't forget about TLMC. Don't forget about the Team Liquid map contest, because that's also very important. Voting is closing on the 6th of June, so you have a couple of days. You have until the end of the week to vote, so not much time. I feel like the PTR has taken the thunder away from the new maps quite a bit. So a shame that it's all happening at once. As the first step gets across the map, the boys have to be pulled, and we should be able to save the pylon here. Oh, it's going to be close. Yeah, it's going to be close. Lings, they threaten. Adept will spawn. Pylon may still go down, though. We commit. Up. Can we save it? We cannot. Ooh, pylon goes down. Yeah, the first step punish for moving out across the map. Sorry, the second adept. Ew, that was both of us moving out, actually. Yeah, brutal punish there. In the end, Krystianer, he will defend. He'll be able to secure himself, but this will delay warp gates. Bear that in mind. There's actually supply blocks and delays the oracle. Oh god, no. Delays the oracle as well. Not like this. Yeah, Krystianer punished for moving out with both adepts, as he did not see the Ling move out. So back at home, YoungYakov is droning. His droning is saturating. Ay. I mean, we spoke about this earlier, right? About how, in general, I feel like in the PTR version of PvZ, I feel like Protoss players are going to be punished for being active and for moving out across the map early on, just because you have limited warp-ins available, right? It's like the ability to reactively and defensively warp in back at home, it's a lot more limited. And that's another example of Krystianer being punished for being active on the map, for moving out. Oof. Behind this is a much faster third. Bear that in mind. So a faster third expansion here into Twilight Council and Forge. A standard follow-up out of Krystianer. This is kind of what we expect on the live version of the game. I'm still not entirely convinced that this is the ideal way to play PvZ on the PTR, just because it's very gateway centric and very gateway focused. But we're going for it. Like, this feels like we're just trying to play like we do on the live version. That's what this feels like from Krystianer's side of things. Going to charge, not blink. Much more committed. What did we scout across the map? We did not see the Roach Warren. Didn't see the Warren, didn't see an Evo Chamber, saw the faster lair. Roaches are going to be more ideal against a more charged storm heavy style. And the oracles will confirm. Okay, they do confirm the Roach Warren. Krystianer's more aware. It's not going to be Ling Hydra. So far picking in, getting one, getting two drones. Temple Archives is on the way. But again, like, this is... I mean, we can get away with this for now. We'll see what YoungYakov builds up towards. As for now, he's just droning, saturating, taking his gases, getting a 4th expansion. So I think a good comparison as to regular base game PvZ is that typically we'd be investing into some safety units early on because it's very common to have like 2, 4, 6 adepts moving out to harass in PvZ. Here that isn't the case, right? Warp gates are now, some of them are finishing up, but there's only 2 warp gates, so the ability to reinforce and to push out with early adept aggression is not really here for Krystianer, which means YoungYakov can cut units and drone up harder, be a little bit greedier, tech up as well, infestation bits on the way. Yakov, he's a little more safer here in the early to mid game. And we're committing. So War Prisms in production. Archons morph in. We still need to get all these gateways online. And we're beginning with, okay, Archon harass. Shannon moving out with the Archons. They've got a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do here. As they move out, Yakov, he's joining up his 4th. He's running up, he's saturating. There's not really much that can really threaten him either. As your oracles, they come in from behind. Catch out a couple of workers. Oh. And we're rushing to Skyjumps, okay. So Krystianer, he's going to be more defensive. He's building up the immortal counter early on. He's got his Archons as well. He has a robust initial robo-heavy composition. Now the goal here is to turtle into Skytoss, but we're not going to be able to get there because YoungYakov, he, remember, drone up very quickly into 79 workers. Very fast droning. Now he's focusing and fixating on his main push. We have the Infestors. We have Microbial Shroud as well. True, that's the other big change. Oh, no. And Yakov, he's going to overwhelm. He's going to overwhelm here. There's the first Microbial Shroud. We can tank the Immortal shots, so that much better. Zealots are still able to buy some time here. The Immortals are holding the line. Can he hold on? Can we focus on the Infestors? So far, we are holding. And fun fact, we can discuss this momentarily here, as with this, the Immortals, they will completely clean this up. Now, if you remember, this is something that we actually realized at the start of the year. So, if you remember, at the very start of the year, there was a build that Lambo and some of the other European Zerg players were trying. As we're trying to rally across, and again, a heavy immortal count here will defend. But they were going for fast Infestors into Ultras, into a big, like, Ultra Infestor Microbial Shroud timing. This was in December of last year, January of this year. It was like November, December, January, where that build was being tested and was kind of rising through the meta. And there's a reason why that stopped. Do you remember why? The reason why they stopped going for that build is because Massive Mortal, even with Microbial Shroud, Ultras were melting. Like, Ultras could still not break Massive Mortal, even with Microbial Shroud. And seeing something similar here with Microbial Shroud, the Roaches, and they still just melt the Immortals anyway. But we saw this at the start of the year with Ultra in ZVP with Microbial Shroud. As Yakobi rotates over. At the same time, going for a split push. Okay. Let's go for the split push. Tempest are massing for Krystianer. Building up a Tempest. Building up Storm. All the changelings. That is a bug. I don't know if you noticed. All the changelings were killed, but they did trigger the shields on the Immortals. That is a bug. Changelings, they did damage. That's once again we're going for Microbial Shroud. Storm is done. Yeah, Storm is going to be available. The Immortals are left alone. Ooh, and Krystianer is being pulled apart. He's being torn apart here. There's our first Storm. Immortals are getting picked off. Some expensive losses here for Krystianer. Expensive. Oh my god. His shield's barely triggered, a battery coming into play, and with that, he's holding. Krystianer's holding on, but still 19 probes! Yeah, 19 workers went down. Again, a messy defense here from Krystianer, losing his entire mineral line at the 4th base. Yeah, very messy defense. Krystianer holds, but with some losses, with some heavy losses. And Yakov is not done. We should calm down, though. Yakov doesn't really have much with this army. And there is a storm. Okay, storm is going to be thrown down, mainly on Zerglings. We have our next Microbial Shroud. And again, when it comes to ZVP and games in general here, we should be seeing more Microbial Shroud that no longer require upgrades. No longer needs the upgrade. Hydras, they get punished in the retreat. Well, the High Templar! Oh, gets one! Yes, nice one High Templar. Krystianer has to be careful, has to babysit his units. And I'm not fond of a counter-attack here. Like, Krystianer, he will win this fight, but pushing across the map, that is a bold move. We have 21 Hydras in production. 21 Hydras, 11 Roaches. This is very risky. Yeah, Queens are coming in as well. And without a good amount of storms, YoungYakov, he can collapse on this army. He can collapse in. It's a first slow zone. Some Zealot reinforcements. The Tempest, they barely do back up. Nice storm. But again, there's what, one storm left? There's not many. No, the Templar. Templar gets sniped. No more storms. 0 storms remaining. Templar has to back the hell up. We gotta get out of here. There's not many Hydras though. The Tempest, they can hold their own. They can hold their own. We're down to what, 6, 7 Hydras. And Krystianer, can he do it? Can he break through? We have how many Tempests? 11! 11 Tempests. And no Spire, no Spire, no Corruptors. And with that, Krystianer is breaking on through. There's such limited anti-air. I was concerned that Krystianer was being too aggressive here. He was going to be punished for it. But no, he barely had enough. With the bare minimum, High Templar gets sniped. We'll bleed out every single Hydra. Krystianer will lose his entire ground army. This was expensive. But the Tempest, pappy. They break the base. Oh. It does break the expansion. Getting up to 14, soon to be 17 Tempest. Oh my god. Oh, the Tempest, pappy. Oh, Hydras, they lunge in. Yeah, they lunge 4. Tempest, they overextend. Losing 1, losing 2. Yeah, massive big off. 2 Tempests go down. As Krystianer did overextend, pushing deep on creep. Nice storm. Yeah, nice storm. Krystianer's going to be careful. Toss warp into reinforcements. Behind this, claiming another expansion. Expanding forward. It's still very tense. Obviously, Hydras do not scale well against Skytoss. But that's only when there's a ground army supporting this, and there isn't that much on the ground. Yakov does notice. Does spot the would-be 5th base. Krystianer forced back home. This is giving YoungYakov time to build up his army. Now we have Spellcasters, more Infestors, more Vipers on the way as well, getting ready for abductions. They can abduct, they can Microbial Shroud. Now, without Storm, I was going to say without Storm, Microbial Shroud can maybe be enough, but there's plenty of High Templar, plenty of Storms available. Microbial Shroud will not be enough. It's a very fragile army. And YoungYakov, he chose not to get a Spire. The moment he saw Tempest, he could have thrown down the Spire if he wanted to, but chose not to, chose to commit here with Mass Hydra. And now he is incorporating some Lurkers though. These, I believe, are going to be Lair Tech Lurkers. No, they have upgrades. Okay, they have Lurker range. And let's say do knock down the expansion. There's so much Taker at the natural. Jesus, nice one. Lands 1, abducts 2, and catching up 2, 3 Tempest. 3 Tempests go down. Massive pickups. Tank is exposed. Here come the bundles once again. Yeah, late reaction by Krystianer. Very late reaction. Gonna lose one more Tempest. These are expensive losses. He's losing a lot of Tempest here. But he'll snipe the Hydra Den, he'll snipe the Lurker Den as well. The 9+3. And Krystianer, sorry, YoungYakov, he counterattacks. Yeah, just goes to the counterattack instead. Shows the Storms. Lands one. They're still playing more Storms behind this, but not much support for the High Templar. There's a recall back home. Yeah, better Storms. Ooh, Tempest, they get caught out. No, he gets caught. Losing one, two. Two Tempests caught out. Krystianer's going to still keep going though. Yeah, he's going to just keep rallying across. And he has done it. At the end of the day, he has now broken YoungYakov. Yakov is down to what? He's down to 18 Hydras, 2 Lurkers, 0 Infestors, only 1 Viper. There are 11 Corruptors on the way, but I don't see that being enough. Like Krystianer, he's reached, I don't want to say like the ideal army. It's still a very chaotic composition to work with, but it is working. He's maxed. All right, Krystianer was able to max out. Parabomb will land. And the splits are not quite there. Oof, that's a lot of damage with the Parabomb. Corruptors are amassing. These are going to be 0-0 Corruptors. Do we have detection? The answer is no. And the observers across the map. Speaking from the expansion. Zelsa knocking down more bases. Oof. Losing another one, losing another 2 Tempest. Nice snipes, very nice snipes. And that's going to be another Tempest falling. Once again, overextends. Hydras, they lunge in, they get another Tempest. These are some heavy losses here for Krystianer. Losing so many Tempest. But once he has detection, he's going to push in. Well, the only thing stopping him, 2 Lurkers. These 2 Lurkers, they're holding the line. He's doing what he can. As well as they knock down another expansion. Another hatchery. Corruptors, they just dive. Yeah, he does go for the dive here, getting 1, 2, 3 more Tempest. Down to 5 from 17. 17 Tempest down to 5. Crazy. But now we have a Grand Army. And this is where Lurkers are a must, but there is no Lurker Den. Remember, Lurker Den got sniped earlier, and we are now, just now, rebuilding the Hydra Den. So no Hydras, no Lurkers. We're not getting more than 2. And with a low Lurker count, this Grand Army cannot be stopped. Even if every Tempest was killed here and now, it wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter. We have so many Storms, Archons, Charge Lots. It's not about the Sky Toss anymore, it's about the Ground Toss. Now, Krystianer, we can just send it back. We just send it. Believe. Oof. Okay, nice lunge away from the Storm. Roaches, they sniped 1 High Templar. GG. And GG gets called as Krystianer. He will claim the game, and we're tied up. We're going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 3 here. Once again, we had a very shaky opener out of Krystianer when it came to losing the pylon, getting supplier blocks, like a very shaky start. But this is where YoungYakov, he had too much faith in the Infestor and in the Microbial Shroud. YoungYakov, he was so committed early on, going for the early Hydra Roach push. He was at 170 supply as Krystianer was trying to expand. I don't blame him for going for that timing, but he saw the wall of immortals and he still tried to break through anyway. And we saw him trade inefficiently. He had a good economy, but he was so dedicated, so committed. He had so much dedicated into that push, into that Roach Hydra Infestor, and he was stuck on Roach Hydra Infestor. Remember, once the Tempest were revealed, he chose not to get a Spire. He chose not to take out of it. He chose to commit. He believed, hey, I've got all these Infestors. My Microbial Shroud is now better. Now we don't need upgrades. Now there's more range as well. Like, I believe. And it was he got punished for it hard. GG. GG, well played. With that, Krystianer's ties of the series, and we're going to the ace match. Let's go. Let's go. So just catching up. TLMC voting closes on Saturday? Yeah. Let's close. As we are loading into game 3. Ooh, gonna be loading into Tourmaline. This is gonna be a brutal map here. Aggression is hyper favored on Tourmaline, and we'll see how Krystianer will adjust coming into game 3. We'll see. Mirroring things, or is there a sound effect? Yes, we were discussing it earlier, but it's in the patch notes, but there is an added sound effect and a bunch of effects added to the Archon. I think we were discussing it in the first or second series, but it's weird. It doesn't really fit too well, I would say. It feels a little bit out of place. Out of place. Here we go. Apparently changing Shane Dye now. Yes. If you're curious, we did go over all the patch notes during the podcast. That was on Friday, so whenever during the podcast, discussing all the changes. But we're getting into our ace match. Meanwhile, when it comes to the upper portion of the bracket, we do have a TVT confirmed. It's going to be ByuN versus Nicoract in a Terran versus Terran matchup in the upper semis. We'll get there. We'll get there. So now we're jumping into our ace match here, the final game of the series. And again, we're loading into Tourmaline, a very small map, short rush distance by ground. We'll get a little bit more into it here as we do load in. Oh boy. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing onside. It is Krystianer. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself representing Stony Balls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting into the final game, the ace match here. And again, welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline has a shorter rush distance by ground, has a very open third expansion, has a very open area in between the bases, has a very direct attack path without any kind of points of elevation or choke points either. So aggression is heavily favored here. We expect all-ins, and we'll see if Krystianer can survive the early game. We'll see if he can make it. Last game, he was able to turtle up, get up to 4 bases, build up into Sky Toss and overwhelm. That is true, but I would argue that the map was helping him as well. Winter Madness, longer rush distance, more defendable bases, more defendable locations, of course, did help Krystianer hold on, survive, defend, and build up into that robust Sky Toss army. It's going to be harder and more difficult to pull that off on Tourmaline. Not impossible, but more difficult. To the point where I would want to see a different build out of Krystianer. I don't see rushing into Tempest being anywhere near as successful. Yo, we got the Primal Zerg soundtrack. I'm assuming I don't know where this soundtrack is from. I don't. Oh, I just hear drums. I think jungle. I think Primal Zerg. I don't know. But now we are going to be opening up. Again, relatively standard openers here. It's going to be hatch, pool, gas out of YoungYakov. He's going for delayed gases every game so far, but again, link speed isn't really as crucial in ZVP, so you can afford to delay it. Can delay. See in the YouTube chat, is this on the PTR? Yes. It is on the PTR. Should be in the title of the stream. Should be in the title. It's a PTR event. We kind of glossed over it, but I guess I should go a little bit more in depth. If you're curious why we saw the Infestors be showcased in the last game, it is due to the fact that Microbial Shroud no longer requires an upgrade. So you can just go straight into Microbial Shroud is just available immediately. So the viability of going into Infestors to support your army is there. And we did see YoungYakov attempt to use that and utilize that in the last game. But as you saw, because of the already preemptive heavy immortal counts, even with Microbial Shroud, the immortals could not be broken, and Krystianer defended very well. We can of course see that working more if we have maybe a greedier Protoss player, if there's a lower immortal count, if it's more gateway centric, then we could maybe overwhelm. Especially against like a Blink Stalker heavy opener. Remember, it was early charge out of Krystianer, and Zealots, they just have their way with units in the Microbial Shroud, as that does affect range-based attacks, not melee-based attacks. Hello, as that is a very fast Roach Run, and we do not pull out of gas. Oh my god. So YoungYakov is going for a Roach Rush, and remember what we said at the beginning of this game, aggression is heavily favored on Tourmaline, and we are going for an all-in. So early all-in here by YoungYakov, going for the early Roach Rush. Meanwhile, it's going to be a 2-gate opener out of Krystianer. This will delay the Stargate, so delayed Stargate, faster 2 gates, faster double adept aggression across the map, but does Krystianer scout what's going on? A defensive Void Ray will be ideal, but he needs to recognize to make a Void Ray. He does need that information. Adept say shade across the map. Roach production has begun. The all-in is coming. And again, Krystianer still has no idea. Does threaten the shade. He does spot Zerglings, but nothing else yet. He commits. Ooh, he does come into the main. Roaches that intentionally kept hidden. Roaches are not revealed. Does trade against the Zerglings, then does he get behind the mineral line? He should see gas mining, but that's not the biggest tell yet. Does he get in? He does. He knows. Yeah, now he knows what's going on. He does spot the Roach Warren. The Roach is already halfway across the map. And behind this, a wall of batteries. Oh my god. Void Ray's on the way. Throws down 3 batteries on the low ground. Sorry, 2 batteries. 2 batteries, 2 pylons. There's a 3rd battery as well. But is it too late? As I mentioned, the army's already here. This map is so small. It's such a small map. We're going straight for the gateway. We're denying Warp Gate. Yeah, Warp Gate will not finish. It's not going to be a factor. Void Ray will help, but there's just so much on the ground, it may not matter. Yeah, he gets one, he gets the other gateway. Warp Gate will not finish. Nice target firing at least. He does get 1, doesn't get 2 roaches. Lings are trying to bust in. Pylon is barely kept alive. There's another battery behind this. Bear that in mind. Oh no! Oh, doesn't get used. Battery gets depowered. And Krystianer, he's holding. Yeah, he will hold, he will defend. It's a messy defense here, but he does clean this up. And behind this, Yakov drones. Yakov is droning, he's saturating. Now, what kind of damage was dealt here? He killed 2 gateways. Ooh, he forced 3 cyber cores. That's 2 extra cyber cores. He forced out 2 extra cyber cores. All these pylons, all these batteries as well. A very, very chaotic, very messy defense. A lot of resources were invested into this. And behind this, Yakov, he's now droning. He can now drone. He can now build back up and claim his 3rd base. The one advantage that Krystianer has is his Skytoss units. The Void Ray, the Oracles, but they're stuck at home. Yeah, they're still stuck at home. Rover gets thrown down, and Yakov looking to get further ahead. Looking to just drone up and just skyrocket ahead here in the economy. Slings are deflected. Oracles, they move in. And it's on Krystianer to find some economic damage here. The longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for YoungYakov. And you said I see gateway explosion, 2 base all in. So a massive gateway explosion here. We're getting up to 6 gateways on 2 bases into a Temple Archives. This should not be for Storm. This should be to morph in Archons immediately. So supportive Archons. Oh, actually, Krystianer does expand. Krystianer is getting a 3rd expansion here. So I'm curious to see if Krystianer commits into an all-in or tries to macro out of this. Oof. As an Oracle goes down, does catch 5 drones. 5, 6 drones do fall. Oh, what are we? Where is this from? I gotta get used to the SC2 soundtrack crap. Yeah. Getting some like Diablo 2 vibes. I'm gonna Here we go. Warping in 3 Archons, okay. Archons are morphing in. These Archons, they got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do. Let's go. Push up the ramp. I believe this is from Nova Covert Ops, if I recall correctly. Now Archon's going to be zoned. Void Ray likewise is deflected the main base. And now we're building up our roaches. YoungYakov is already done joining. Joining up to 3 base saturation. He's got his 4th base just for larva. Building up his roach hydra. And soon will be time to move out across the map. Krystianer, what kind of defenses are we going to have here? Once again, it's a messy natural base. The 3rd base is more open, more barren as well. Yakov looks like, once again, just like game number 2, we're going for the infestation bit into an infestor push. So he should have like maybe what, 2 infestors, maybe 3 at most, a couple of microbial shrouds. I would imagine that's the goal. Keep an eye on YoungYakov. So now Yakov, he is joining up his 4th. Getting up to 77, soon to be 80 workers. No, we're rushing to Hive. Okay, my assumption was that YoungYakov was going to be more aggressive, but no, he's choosing to tech up, which means Krystianer, he's stabilizing. He's stabilizing on 3 bases. Now we can think about a 4th base. Here come the safety infestors, as we mentioned previously. Yakov, he's applying some pressure here, but he has to be careful. Yakov forced back home. Krystianer, he does threaten. Behind this, he's on 7 gates. 7 warp gates. Ooh, with that, does catch out a couple of hydras. We'll tag the force field, and you can't get the expansion. Yeah, the hatchery will go down. Nice pickup. Krystianer pulls away at the same time. Ooh, attempted harass on the right-hand side. Once again, force fields that look down some of the roaches. Krystianer, he's trading well, but he's running out of zealots. Yeah, he's running out of a buffer. Archons go down. Immortals are exposed. Losing 1 immortal already. Losing 2. No, the juggling. Yeah, the juggling isn't there. And Krystianer, he overextended. He overextended. Heavy losses for Krystianer. Now trying to reinforce. With these reinforcements, whoa, Krystianer, he actually has enough. Oh my god. He does have enough. He's coming. Krystianer, he still maintains his position. He still has 2 immortals. Getting messy. We're getting messy here. As Krystianer is maintaining this position in the center, expanding behind his army, going for his 4th. Files will connect. Lands 1. And one of the piles behind this going for Lurker Tech. Lurker Den is on the way. Hive is complete. But what have we done with said Hive? I mean, I guess we can go into Lurker upgrades, but Lurker Den is late. Yeah, late Lurker Den. There are some safety infestors from Microbial Shroud. I believe Yakov should be able to defend against this. Oh. Yeah, force fields, they do allow the army to sit by. We were lacking force fields. Tiana pulls away. And with the game slowing down, lurkers will come into play. They're going to come online. Oh, catching out a free immortal. Miss rally. Yeah, brutal miss rally there from Krystianer. Losing an immortal. Storm is still on the way. And lurkers are coming. I would say that currently there's no good answer for lurkers. A heavy immortal count can break through a low amount of lurkers, but as the lurker count gets higher and higher, we will need Sky Toss. And Krystianer is not ready for it. Once the 4th base is fully operational, then we can start to afford a fleet beacon. But there's going to be a window in time where lurkers are going to be coming online first. Prism is the main. Prism does step by. Catching out a queen. Queen, a roach. Maybe we can focus on some drones, as it looks like maybe one. Not quite. Nice fungal, but there's no follow-up. Lurkers are revealed. As we mentioned, this lurker count is getting higher and higher, and there's a late reaction. Oh, fleet beacon. This is a reaction to scan the lurkers, but this is already this is after there's already what, 7? 8 lurkers already on the field. So very late fleet beacon. Krystianer, now he knows he has to work towards Sky Toss, but again, it's just a late realization. And that means that there's a massive window here where lurkers can reign supreme. They can overwhelm. Lurkers are moving in. Oh. Sending back the army. Nice storms though. Storms are connecting. Oh, the wall. Yeah, the wall is wide open. Lings, they do flood in. Yeah, they bust into the main. At the same time, Zelce will hit the mineral line. Not bad. Cashing an entire mineral line here. 7 drone kills. Nice run by. Krystianer trying to come in from behind. Cannot break through that lurker line. Prism into the main base. Zelce catching reinforcements. These are nice moves here by Krystianer, but he's still kind of breaking the expansion. He still can't break the center. Not yet. Singular lurker denying mining. Tempest still amassing. We're about to have 14 lurkers. Down to 13. 13 lurkers. That as well. Do we have a storm? We do. Yeah, nice storm of the army. Ooh, we'll lose one Eye Templar though. Yeah, one Templar gets caught. Zelce run into a wall of spine crawlers. Krystianer, he needs to pull away. Nice focus firing. Both armies are maxing out. And what's important, how many Tempests do we have? 3, soon to be 5 Tempests. Not bad. Up until this moment, we were talking about this window of opportunity for YoungYakov, but the reality is he's been stuck at home. Yakov, he's been on it. This is the first time in the past couple of minutes here that he's pushing out. But he's been stuck at home for a long time. Oh no! Oh, Immortals get caught. Yeah, they caught in the low ground as well. Yeah, completely out of position. The lurkers, they keep pushing in, pushing towards the expansion, and this army, it's on the low ground. Yeah, with that Krystianer, he's just being torn apart. Caught mid-rotation. Wasn't attentive. He will clean up these roaches, but they did their job. They caused a distraction, and they create an opening here for the lurkers. Lurkers, they move in. Center base goes down. This should never have happened. 21 probe kills. And sure, we have a high Tempest count, but that's the entire economy just being broken here for Krystianer. Down 24 probes and the 4th expansion. Stellar Bombers are finding damage though. True. Zelce are on a move targeting the expansion, as we could have caught more gas mining workers, so a bit of miscontrol here by Krystianer. He A-clicked on the hatchery itself, on the hive. Likewise, here we were able to get a couple workers. YoungYakov, though, still on 70 drones, still has a robust economy, robust enough. Krystianer's army has potential for sure, but his economy means he cannot reinforce. Another Templar, losing one more. Losing 1, losing 2. 3? Just 2. Yeah, losing 2 more Templar. Gets into the mineral line. Some rough losses for Krystianer. And again, Yakov has done it. The Krystianer, he had an impressive comeback though, recovering in this game. But the moment the Krystianer rotated through the center on the low ground into defend his 3rd, I mean, that was it. That was it. That was the moment where Yakov pulled Krystianer apart. Krystianer just cannot expand, cannot get a 4th. Not like this. And Krystianer's all in. Now, I will say that Krystianer's main army has potential if we have plenty of storms available, and there's a decent chunk of storms. Some of these High Templar are fresh, so there's not much energy. Oh, we're going for the base trade. Yakov turns around. Yakov, he turns back around. Here come the abductions. There are 7 Tempests, down to 6. Nah, never mind. We still got 7. Oh, there we go. Oh my god. The Tempest gets away. Catching an Immortal. Brutal Storm of the Hydras. Catching out 1, 2 Immortals and an Archon. Storm zone away. Once again, 11 probe kills. Just confirming there's no economy behind this. What you see is what you get. And it's a good army, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much that Krystianer can achieve with this. As he will lose another Tempest. Another Tempest goes down. This one we just go for the dive. There's only one Archon on the ground, so no anti-air. Yeah, no anti-air. GG gets called, and YoungYakov, he will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, YoungYakov. He will claim this series. My condolences to Krystianer. He was able to hold his own and force the ace match here on Tourmaline. It was a difficult challenge here for Krystianer to build up into late game into SkyToss. He almost got there though. Like, I was very impressed with Krystianer's ability to slow the game down, to keep YoungYakov pinned back, to build up his Immortals, to build up his Tempest more importantly, and secure his 4 bases. Up until he was distracted. Remember, YoungYakov, he split up his army, he went for a harassing, distracting force on the right hand side. It forced a messy rotation from Krystianer. He got caught in the low ground, and that was game. That was game. Then and there, he was stuck on the low ground, pushing up into a concave of lurkers, and GG. GG, well played. Whew, with that. With that, we're getting into our next series. We're going to be loading into the upper semis. It's going to be a best of 3 between ByuN and Nicoract. So we are going to be setting up here. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break, just catching up. Should have kept the Infested Terrans for Infestors. I more or less agree. I would say the quote-unquote original Infested Terran before the Infested Terran with rockets. For those who are around back in the day, if you remember, Infested Terrans, before they were removed, they actually buffed the Infested Terran anti-air damage to, instead of having like the Marine like Gatling gun, to like these weird like rockets, which were insane. And things got a little bit out of hand there, then they got rid of them. I think a lot of people were asking for a reversion of that to go back into what they used to be. And I also know that I think Patches with his mod, he has a unique version of Infested Terran where he treats the Infestor almost like a carrier, where there's like a capacity of how many Infestors are inside the how many Infested Terran are inside the Infestor, so you're limited, like kind of like the carrier has limited spots inside it for the Interceptors. So I think it's like they hold into like 4 charges of Infested Terran each or something like that. So there's like some interesting like experimentation has been occurring with the Infestor and how to make use of it, just so that you can't like necessarily mass Infestor or mass Infested Terran, but to have them available. It's interesting what they're doing with it. But regardless, GG, well played. With that, we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have ByuN versus Nicoract. See you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. As that was a very short break, but we have returned here with the upper semifinals, upper semifinales here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 133, the PTR edition. We have returned here with a Terran versus Terran matchup, a TVT, and spawning in the bottom hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. Un momento. Not the cow. Hold on, Pappy, hold on. Yeah, the South Korean Terran player, we have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Yo, what's happening with the casting tool? And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran himself representing Stouty Balls. It is Nicoract. What is happening? If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as I will have to once again restart my casting tool. There we go. Here we go. Also, thank you so much, Psycons, for the donation, for the tip of $13.37. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the bosses. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. We appreciate it. The bunnies appreciate it as well. Thank you, papi. Thank you. Do appreciate it as we're settling into our game. One moment since I fixed up our colors, of course. There we go. As we load into our TVT, and Nicoract does open up with a proxy 2 racks. Let's go. Gases are being mined. Bear that in mind, of course, as we're setting up. Going, I would imagine, 2 racks Reaper. Meanwhile, ByuN going for an economic opener. Racks expand into a delayed factory. Okay. So again, ByuN is being more economic here, and there's potential for ByuN to be punished as a result of that, as the Reapers are amassing. ByuN even opening up Marine first. We'll have a scouting depot here on the right-hand side to get eyes on any Reapers coming in, so we'll have some extra seconds to react, but is that going to be enough? Here we go. Yes, from here we are going to be amassing up our Reapers. Behind this now, I had assumed, so my apologies, I assumed that because it was a single gas opener, it was going to be a faster CC, but no, ByuN is going for a faster factory. Interesting. There is still going to be a little micro potential available here for Nicoract to try to overwhelm and to break through. He does move off the ramp, but one Reaper already goes down. Oh my god, a heavy loss already here for Nicoract. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, losing the first Reaper here. The Hellion is on the way, and with that, ByuN should be fine. Yeah, ByuN, he is going to be able to hold on here. As the Marines are just buying time for the Hellion. Hellion is halfway done. Reapers, they should have won these Marines. Gets one Marine so far, but oh my god, the Reapers, they just get bullied back. Oh my god, the man with gun is pretty good. Man with gun is pretty good. He's going to be zoned away. And again, with the arrival of Hellions, ByuN should be fine. ByuN should be fine here. One of the Hellions is getting quite low, so ByuN has to be careful here. Likewise, Nicoract has to do the best he can to split up his army to make sure that there's no splash damage. Spreads out his Reapers. We'll lose one. And behind this, ByuN is just expanding. He's just claiming his own base. And Nicoract, he's not transitioning behind this. There's no transition. He will lose everything, and with that, the aggression is failing. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN will take a lead in the series. Again, Nicoract, he was hyper committed here to his proxy 2 ranked Reaper, and ByuN, of course, behind this, he did play safe. He went for a faster factory. I assumed he was going for a faster CC, but clearly, I mean, as we saw, he did play a little bit safer here. With limited vision, limited scouting, did go for the faster factory instead, a faster Hellion production, and once the Hellions start to arrive, that's the end of the aggression. That's the end of the cheese, the end of the proxy, I should say, and with that, GG. GG, well played. ByuN, he held, he defended, he shut down the Reapers, and we're now loading into Title Citadel. Let's go. Let us go. Start getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Terran player. Representing Team Stony Balls, it is Nicoract. But it looks like I have to restart the casting tool in between series. Just because, yeah, it's the PTR. So it's a little bit broken, or a little bit messy, but it's fine, it's fine. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. So now we're going to be opening up, and we'll see how committed our players are going to be opening up this time here, as Nicoract is getting his depot back at home. I'm sure this time not going for any kind of cheese or proxy. Welcome to Title Citadel. When it comes to this map here, the bases are relatively spread out. Rotations and army movement and map vision and map control and map awareness is going to be paramount here on Title Citadel. We've seen many a player struggle to defend your third base, your fourth base, your fifth base locations as you do spread yourself thin, trying to build up into a longer mid game if we even get there. Often TVTs are dictated early on. If you happen to have the perspective or the opinion that TVT is like, you know, a slower kind of matchup, and we often get like split map scenarios, that tells me you haven't watched TVT in like 6 years. TVT is often hyper aggressive, high octane, a lot of all-ins. This slower style of TVT is just something that's used to be the case quite some time ago. Nowadays it's a little bit rarer to see that. Whenever we do see it, you know, we try to appreciate it as best we can, especially with ByuN involved. ByuN is a very active player, but TVT often comes down to the third base, and even before that as well. But we'll see how the meta might change and shift coming into the PTR, coming into a different economy. Once again, it's going to be Marine first, single gas. We're imagining it's going to be racks in the factory into a later CC. Is what we're imagining. Yep. So same build, a very safe opener here by ByuN. And Nicoract does follow suit, going for the same opener. So racks in the factory. The one difference here is that Nicoract is going for early Reapers. This will give Nicoract a little bit of map presence early on to scout, to apply some pressure. Meanwhile, ByuN is preserving his gas, only opening a Marine. They're really concerned with scouting. There's no SCV scout, there's no Reaper scout out of ByuN. The scouting is going to come in the form of Hellions. As here comes our expansions. Both players do claim their bases. Breaks in, it's going to be deflected, and from here ByuN should be fine. And we'll see where this leads us. Typically, especially with early Marine production in such a way, we can head into our own 1-1-1 medevac follow-up. Likewise, we could try to cut some corners here. So going for the add-on swap into additional Hellions. I did mention previously here that ByuN has 0 information currently, but that will soon change once he gains map control with the reactored Hellion production. Likewise, Nicoract doing the same thing, also reactored Hellion with the additional Reaper as well. So again, so far mirrored builds, mirrored follow-ups. There's the add-on swap. From here we can go into early Raven, into a more standard early to mid game, or we can go into Banshee play if we're feeling a little bit frisky. But otherwise, we're settling in. Yo, shout out to the Tuna. True. The Tuna. There is said add-on swap. And now we have our Hellion. Oh, Hellion Banshee. Okay, so Nicoract does opt to go Banshee here. Meanwhile, it does invest into Cloak as well. So Nicoract, he does start to spice things up here, going into some hidden tech. Meanwhile, ByuN playing standard, going into Raven. So there is a deviation. Up until this point, both players have been going for mirrored builds. We have Raven versus Banshee. These Banshees obviously have a lot of potential for damage. They can go into mineral lines. They can catch a little workers. Obviously scans, and now the Raven as well are going to be multiple ways to detect these units to shut them down. And we'll see if Nicoract can find some damage. This can make or break the game for our blue Terran. Ooh, meanwhile, they do line up. Yeah, better engage here for Nicoract. He does clean up most of the Hellions. I say that down to 3. The Marines, they do come in and they will help defend. With that, Nicoract, he will lose almost every single Hellion here. Behind this, Banshees are amassing. ByuN building up his safety Cyclones. That's the other factor. There is going to be anti-air in the form of Cyclones here for ByuN, so those Banshees have to be careful. At least bearing in mind that ByuN is not fully aware. He still has not scattered at all, by the way. Still has no idea what's going on, but is still playing it safe. Still very, very safe. First Banshee's moving out. What I will say is that due to the safetiness here of ByuN's build, it does mean that he's going to be behind in tanks. He's going to be behind in tanks due to the Cyclone. But he's up in the Ravens. That makes up for it, for sure. That does make up for it. So we go with double Banshee heading into the main. Likewise, I mean, there are Marines. There's a Cyclone here as well. ByuN is in position. It comes down to his reaction, of course. So Cloak is activated. They get spotted. Yeah, they get spotted. Lock on here at the Banshee. First Cyclone does go down. Here come the auto turrets. Ooh, and does punish one. And will barely not get the second Banshee. Whew, barely not. But overall, this is still a better trade for ByuN. Yes, he lost a Cyclone, but hey, he killed a Cloak Banshee and 0 economic damage. Yeah, 0 economic damage. ByuN now rushing into a 3rd CC. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's building up his tank count, building up his production, going into Stim, building up his army, and there's going to be an earlier timing available for Nicoract. Remember, Nicoract is up in tanks, and he has much faster Stim. Faster Stim, faster upgrades, faster +1. So there is an earlier timing available here. And we'll see if Nicoract can break ByuN, or if ByuN can expand and claim his 3rd. As Nicoract is likewise expanding behind this on location. This is riskier here from Nicoract, but he should have map control, right? He should have map control. He should be able to contain ByuN for a time as well. We should soon see him move out. So we're building up into our 3-base economy. Building up. ByuN will expand. Once we get our 3rd bases up and running, then we can start being active on the map. And typically we expect Nicoract to apply pressure here into delay, but the higher Raven count is scary. You don't want to be caught out with mass disables. So ByuN will expand. Does zone Nicoract away. And Nicoract, he does not attempt to fight for map control. So with this ByuN, he has a better economy, and he's getting further ahead. I feel like the pressure was on Nicoract to be present and to be active and to apply pressure here. Without any pressure, now he's moving out, but this does feel a little bit late. Without it, he's falling further behind. Nicoract, I mean. ByuN's already getting saturated. Nicoract going for the Doom Drop. Behind this, there's 1 turret in the main. Sorry, 2. Here we have 2 turrets. We have the auto turrets as well from the Ravens and disables. Sensor Tower does spot the drop, and we commit. Yeah, we just drop in. We do boost in. Diving on the tank. The first tank should go down. The boys are being pulled, and here come the disables, the auto turrets as well. And with that, Nicoract has to get the hell out of here. Yeah, he gets cleaned up. He gets cleaned up, losing the tanks, losing every single medevac as well. No shot. Yeah, lose everything. 4 medevacs go down. GG, and ByuN, he will claim the series 2-0. ByuN will advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, I don't blame Nicoract for committing across the map. He was pressured because he did have a delayed economy. He had a low worker counts. There was a lot of pressure on Nicoract to make something happen. Committed across the map, but alas, ByuN was in position. He was ready for it. He had the turrets. He had the orders. He had the Ravens as well. He was set up, and yeah, with that, he completely shut down the drop. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN, who'll snowball out of control, who will claim the series, and ByuN will advance on into the grand finals. With that, we have our 2 finalists getting ready here. It's going to be a TVZ between ByuN and YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. It is going to be a TVZ here. And as a reminder, it's going to be a best of 5. Best of 5 map. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen... I don't think I've seen a single ZVT on the new patch yet. When it comes to like content that I've been viewing so far, it's been like a couple of Hearthstone games. I mean, it's obviously the Hearthstone Lorimbo series, of course, as well. Haven't seen too much ZVT, especially because like there's been a little bit less interest in the matchup just because of the Protoss changes, of the production changes. So that's where a lot of attention has been on the production, like early and mid game, and how the gateway change has been affecting that, of course. When it comes to TVZ, we'll see kind of how the economic changes kind of affect things and influence things. I do like that we have YoungYakov here to showcase Zerg, just because he has been known to be aggressive at times, and if we were to see an earlier all-in, like I would not be surprised if YoungYakov goes for something like that. We'll see if he does, or he does choose to be more aggressive here. We'll see how he will approach this matchup. Let's go. As Vitas are done. Oh my god, yeah, Vitas are done. And hold on. Jesus, I was not ready for this. Oh no, Anthem. As we do have to switch our scenes over now before we get into the grand finals. Before we get into the finals here, you know what time it is? It is raffle time. I almost forgot. I was just caught up in the moment of getting into all these games. Again, vetoes are done, but before the grand finals, we have 12 players eligible for a random raffle. So every single week, every single tournament, every single Tuna Cup, we do have a random raffle to give and to spread the love here, to give some prize money to one random player. It can go to a finalist like ByuN, or it can go to a player that got knocked out in the first round, like Kaio, for example. So here we go. This week, we have 12 players. A bit of a smaller bracket, but we're also clashing with Wardy's tournaments. I'm aware of that. We're clashing with Wardy's tournaments, and I think there's another event going on later on as well. But this week, we have our random raffle winner, and it is... Oh! Congratulations, as Roxas, he does walk away with 5 USD. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Roxas. Roxas, he was knocked out in the first round. I believe he went down to, was it Nicoract? No, Geralt. Geralt did take down Roxas 2-0, and hey, he does come out on top over Perceive, Camo, Nicoract, YoungYakov, and Hacker is top. GG, well played. Congratulations, Roxas, for walking away with 5 USD. Otherwise, it is time for the grand finals. It's time for the finals. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Ruby Rock. If you want to support our tournaments, if you want to support Sparkling Tuna Cup on a regular basis, you can do so via... Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. You'll get a link to our Patreon page. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis. Fun fact, this Sparkling Tuna Cup is the longest running open cup out there. We've been running this event longer than the Wardy TV Mondays, or Pigasor Cups, or KSLs, or Monday Night Weeklies, for example. Longest running open cup out there. Before us, it used to be the ESL Open Cups and Alima League. ESL Open Cups aren't a thing anymore. Alima League is nothing anymore either. So we hold that title, Pat. We hold that title. Also, I say Open Cup because technically the Legacy Weekly Japans have been running a lot longer. For sure. But those are region-based, of course. They're regional, Pat. So we are getting into our grand finals. We have our best of 5, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Zerg player representing Stouty Bulls. It is YoungYakov. And I'll fix up the names in the intro. Don't you worry. I'll fix them up. Whew, but here we go. We have our best of 5. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to gamba. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our initial best of 5. Best of luck with those predictions. Good luck. Oh, but here we go. We have our best of 5. We have our initial matchup. Likewise, welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a smaller map, shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is typically favored on a map like this, and we'll see how aggressive our players plan on being here. Likewise, I did mention previously, I haven't really experienced too much ZVT on the new PTR patch. Curious to see how this plays out, and if we get to embrace some longer and later games. Now, when it comes to ZVT, when it comes to at least the current meta in the live version of the game, it's very common to go roach heavy, to open up roaches, to be more defensive, to build up into a faster hive, and to get into roach ultra tech, ideally, right? That's kind of like the win condition, and it's easier to achieve that on some of these larger maps. On a smaller map, roach openers and roach play is still very common, just to keep you safe, just to survive early on, to build on up. Due to the changes of the Baneling and due to the changes of the Spire as well, Ling Bane play is still an option, but I feel like we see a lot of roach play here out of YoungYakov. We'll see if that's going to be the case, as it's going to be hatch into a pool into a delayed gas. So a later gas geyser out of YoungYakov. We'll see if he does skip link speed or just gets it later on. We'll see. As we are going to be opening up. Hello. Okay, it is going to be a Reaper first into our CC on low ground. We have our reactor on the way. Curious to see what the follow-up is going to be here from ByuN as he does move out across the map. And does scout for any early tech, any early aggression. Yakov does lay his third. Okay, so delayed third expansion out of YoungYakov. With the delayed third base, we could end up seeing our Zerg player here. We mentioned roach play earlier. We could even see fast lair tech as well. I feel like if it was going to be fast lair, we would have gone for an earlier. No, we can still go with this gas timing, I suppose. We'll see. Reaper is going to be zoned away. We have the resources for link speed. As that is going to be 2 drones going down already. Oh my god. 2 drones going down and a Zergling. Very nice damage so far here with the Reaper. And link speed is on the way. So we're not skipping link speed. We're pulling out of gas. There's no fast tech. But Yakov is stuck on 2 bases. Stuck on 2 bases. He's contained. Behind this, we have a 1-1-1 follow-up. A hyper aggression here by ByuN. Okay. Well, I say hyper aggression, like, I don't know if I have to change my perspective on the PTR due to the economic changes, but typically we'd be expecting a third CC by now. Instead, Starport, much more committed, much more aggressive, delayed expansion, much more, again, just aggressive here from ByuN. So I'll fix up the player name. Opening up reactor to Hellion Banshee. Meanwhile, 2 base lair. Okay, there we go. We have confirmation. Again, based on the 2 base opener, there was a higher chance it was going to be 2 base lair. I thought it might have been lair before speed, but it's going to be speed after lair. So it's going to be lair after speed. Catching out the Overlord. YoungYakov is contained on 2 bases. ByuN is rotating, just ensuring there is no third expansion. We're going for a Baneling. Wait, what? We're going for a Baneling nest. That I was not expecting. Okay, are we going into 2 base Muta? Hellions, they avoid the surround. And nice trades, nice pickups. They confirm the Baneling nest, which is very abnormal. And it is 2 base Muta. And again, all the gas have been scattered as well. So ByuN, he doesn't get into the main base, he doesn't scout the Spire, but he can assume what's going on. Like, he can make an educated guess that it's going to be 2 base Muta here. Banshee's moving in. We have a Bio follow-up. And we'll see what the Mutas can get done. Now, thankfully, due to all his Hellions going down, there is nothing on the ground here to defend. Yeah, Marines are stuck on the ramp. Does snipe the depot. Banshee does hit the natural. No spore. Oh, no spore in position. Ay. 4 or 5 drones going down. This is critical damage. Critical damage being dealt here early on. Getting up to 6, getting up to 7. 7 drone kills. Banshee does move into the main, and the Banshee sees everything. Confirms the Spire. And now you have confirmation. And still more damage. Again, no spores in the main or the natural. Yakov getting punished. And with that, Yakov, he stumbles his way into the mid game. Stumbles his way in. Muted production has begun. ByuN, of course, is fully aware. So where are the mutas? Second Banshee moves in, so it's still popping up. 6 drone kills. Critical damage. And now we're moving out. Now we're moving out. Back at home, turret's already on the way. We have Marines amassing as well. Stim is already done, so plenty of anti-air. There is a world where mutas can maybe bypass the army, which is we're already just pushing out. Oh my god. We just commit. So there are 0 Zerglings out right now. There's 2 Banelings on the way. And ByuN, I think he might even just be able to break the natural, but he does settle for the 3rd. Settles for the 3rd base. Forcing Yakov to come to him. Does force the Zerg out. Nice kiting here by ByuN, pushing or pulling off a creep. Does back off. Forcing YoungYakov to respond. Does force a response. And this ByuN still reinforcing as well. Yeah, moving out on the wave. Oh, almost gets caught out. Oof, almost. He can focus on the Banelings. Gets 1, gets 2. Both Banelings do fall. We have more reinforcements coming in, more Marines, and with that, ByuN, he will overwhelm. He breaks down all the Lings, all the Banes. Doesn't get on top of the mutas, not yet. ByuN still rallying. Yakov trying to catch reinforcements, trying to at least. And what is there on the ground? We have 2 Banelings. 2 Banelings. Oh, sorry, getting up to 4. My apologies. Getting up to 4 Banelings. And more on the way. As Yakov is being pinned down, ByuN does expand, claiming his 3rd. Same as 3rd base so far. Plenty of Marines here to defend. Mutas, they're going to be shut down. Losing 1, losing 2. And 2 mutas do fall. Some expensive losses here for YoungYakov. Speaking of expensive, YoungYakov is down in workers as well. Does come in for the surround though. Does collapse on the tank. The tank goes down. Nice pickoff. Ah. It does take down the tank here, and YoungYakov, he's barely holding up, but the economy is my big concern. You can see here 47 drones, barely an economy for YoungYakov. Ay, ay, ay. So he does survive, he does holds, but behind this, ByuN is getting further ahead. He's just getting further ahead, building up a larger force, now switching out a tank into mass winter mine. +2 is on the way, still building up his bio army. He did preserve most of his Marines. So a very strong position here for ByuN. Oof. Massive mine shot to the face. Muta's going to be zoned away. And ByuN can just soon just A-move. He can soon just A-move. We have 4 Banelings. Let's go. It's going to be 7. ByuN does rotate. So far, again, ByuN's been playing it very, very safe. He's been respecting the creep quite a bit, respecting all these Banelings. He should deny the expansion at the same time. Link counterattack where there are plenty of reinforcements back at home. Shows a mine shot. Oh, okay, nice splits, nice surround. Lings they move in. ByuN, he does kill the expansion. That's a kill, not a cancel. But SCV's gonna be falling. Not bad. 2, 3 SCV kills. We get some economic damage. That's a lot of Zerglings being thrown away. Yeah, a lot of Zerglings going down. And soon ByuN is going to max. He's almost maxed out. Now pushing further in. Is he looking? Oh no! Oh my god. Yeah, lane reaction. Lane pickup. Does pull away. Oh my god. Brutal mine shots. Brutal connections. And ByuN is going to keep pushing. It's just going to keep rallying. Yakov has been trading water for the past, what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes? It's been brutal. Been shredding water, and he has been able to survive, but at no point here does he ever really have any momentum. The economy is still lacking here for YoungYakov from the beginning. He was stuck on 2 bases, late third, late fourth. I mean, non-existent 4th base, I should add at that. But late third, no 4th, no drones, no economy. Mutas, they never pay for themselves. And a lot of this just came down to the scouting early on. Remember, ByuN scouted. He was able to confirm, he punished, killed a bunch of workers early on with the Banshees, and got a full scout. And that's the risk you take when you go into Muta play. Is the risk you take. Oof. As ByuN is maxed. ByuN is maxed out. He's been able to push for quite some time, but he's just been playing it very safe. Very, very safe. Calming down. Now moving out, getting on top of the would-be 5th base. Mutas attempt to flank. Bailey's just trying to collapse in. Like and splits. Yeah, like and splits. Despite that, oh my god, the Thor's A tank. Thor's A tank every single Bailey. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he had a late reaction to the Ling Bane. He had a very frazzled response there, but at the same time, Bailey's only connected with Thor's. Thor's, they tanked all the Bailings. GG, well played. ByuN, I mean, again, leading up to that point, YoungYakov, he had a worse economy the entire game. He stumbled his way into the early game, into the mid game. It was just treading water the entire time. Just a very, very rough start with that. GG. GG, well played. Now we're loading into game 2, and we'll see if YoungYakov can have a much more secure early game here. We'll see how he opens up, but going into Muta play is always risky, though. It's always risky. Rushing into 2-base Muta, and Yakov was punished for it. He was punished. One day I want to hear a situation where the losses are cheap. That's happened before. That's we talk about it all the time when it comes to TVP. In late game PvT, Protoss players, they often have cheap losses as they typically lose only gateway units, referring to like a maxed out death bull of an army with a superior kind of map control, map presence. We often say that they do have cheap losses and very affordable losses. It does happen, just in other matchups. Other matchups. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shelvar Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing Stouty Bulls. It is YoungYakov. So let us go. So settling into game number 2. ByuN is Zerg. For those who are curious, ByuN on the PTR is a barcode. You can see here. He has Clan ByuN, but he is a barcode on his accounts. That's why I have to manually change the name. Otherwise, as you can see on the UI, just under the Tuna, ByuN is a barcode. Then bam, he has a name. So that is done manually. So depending on spawn location, I have to activate, deactivate, mix that around. But it's all good. It's all good. That's why I might say the incorrect name at the start of the game, as depends on where ByuN spawns. But here we go. For now, once again, delayed gas opener, hatch pool opener here by YoungYakov. Last game, as a reminder, Yakov, he did go link speed into fast lair on 2 bases, into a delayed third, into 2 base muta, which was a very bold move to go for on Ruby Rock. He got scouted, he got punished, and in the end, Yakov got shut down. We'll see how he will adjust coming into a larger map like Title Citadel. Yo, meanwhile, a big shout to No Screen in the chat. Baby guy, Esther, No Screen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for a year, 12 months of support, baby. Ay. Gracias, baby. Gracias. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. As we settle into our grand finals here into our best of 5, here we have ByuN going CC first. Hyper greed out of ByuN, going for the faster command center, going for a delayed Rax. Meanwhile, Yakov is scanning for proxies, checking the nearby locations. Behind this, going into his own standard opener here. Again, later gas geyser, earlier pool. And we'll see what we can achieve here with these early lings. As the CC's already done, we have our initial Marines on the way. No Reapers. No Reapers here by ByuN. Cutting a lot of corners. Very greedy play here by a Terran. And he should get away with it. He should get away with it. Lings are moving out. Is the stream on YouTube as well? Yes. We do stream all of our live broadcasts on Twitch and YouTube and on Facebook and on Kick and on Soup. All the platforms. We're all over the place. Just as a heads up. So the VOD is available on YouTube immediately after. Likewise, eventually gets uploaded on a series basis as well, a little bit later. As once again, ByuN does open up with a 1-1-1, so a much greedier start here by ByuN, going CC first into a faster orbital, into faster worker production, into the same follow-up here, 1-1-1, a more aggressive follow-up, leading into most likely reactored Hellion Banshee. We'll see if ByuN does mix this up, but regardless, ByuN is delaying his 3rd CC. Meanwhile, I'm getting deja vu. In game 1, ByuN went for a 2-base opener, 1-1-1 into reactored Hellion Banshee, and Yakov went 2-base muta. This is 2-base muta again. All 4 gases are being taken, lair is on the way, no 3rd expansion in sight, 2-base muta. Meanwhile, ByuN does not add on swap. Interesting. No add-on swap here, no tech lab either. He's going for a reactored Marine into an early medevac push. This is going to be a very early timing here by ByuN. It's going to be hitting very early on without stim. No stim. These are vanilla Marines, but because it's hitting so early, there's not much to defend. There's going to be 2 queens, a handful of zerglings. We do have a very fast Bailey nest, but that's not going to help here, not this early on. Hellions get spotted. Medevac's boosting in. Queens are amassing. We have what? 3, 4. We have 4 queens. 1's in the main. But the army doesn't come together. Okay, Hellions at the natural. Marines in the main base. Forced to pick up. Applying pressure at the 3rd. Hellions deflected by the queens so far. Nice defense here by YoungYakov. Very nice. We will still lose the 3rd. You'll lose the expansion. ByuN goes further in. He has yet to scout the tech. Spires behind the main. And lairs at the natural. So ByuN is still a little bit playing, he's still playing blind, somewhat. Still playing blind. Hellions are getting called out. And nice cleanup here. Now, ByuN, what he does know is that there's no 3rd. So there's a very high chances 2-base lair, there's very high chances 2-base muta. He hasn't scouted or confirmed, but he can assume, as he does check the main, he does see the gases. And Marines, they break further in. Cleans up all the Zerglings, getting on top of the Queens as well. ByuN, he didn't scout the natural base. He's checking behind the main. He's so close to the Spire. Oh no! And catching out 3, 4, 5 drones. Marines, they dive in, they scout the lair. And ByuN should know now. ByuN confirms all 4 gases. That's going to be 6, 7 drones going down. 8 drones falling. Confirms the Spire. With 8 mutas on the way. And once again, YoungYakov is stumbling his way into the early to mid game here. Yakov, he will clean this up, but this is paid for itself. This is paid for itself. 10 drone kills, 33 lings as well. Full scouting information, cancelled third expansion. The third base just now finishing, 7 minutes in. Fun fact, we already have an orbital. ByuN already has an orbital base, already floating over and already miles ahead economically. He's up in workers plus mules. So ByuN has a stronger economy. These mutas have a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do. Marines, they drop into the main. They drop into the main base. Oh no, the Queens! The Queens, they body block those Zerglings. That's one Queen going down. No transfuse. No transfuse. And we're getting out of hand here. Busting into the mineral line. Queen goes down. Spore as well. The drones, no, they go through the Marines. Mutas are racing back home to defend. And that is 13 drone kills. We can even go for the Spire. Critical damage. Critical damage here. The Spire, it may just go down. It may and it will. Trades with the Zerglings first. Cleans them all up. You can always focus on the Spire towards the end, and he should. We're gonna focus on the Spire. We're gonna, oh my god, he just fights the mutas. Oh, he just wins the fight. GG. GG, and ByuN, he will claim the game and take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Oh my god, calm down, Bappy, calm down. I was like, oh, he's gonna kill the Spire, and then Lings move in. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll kill the Zerglings first, and then kill the Spire, and then the mutas show up. It's like, oh, I guess we'll just killed the mutas, and then he just killed everything. He just man with gun is pretty good. He just fights the lings, fights the mutas, didn't even kill the Spire, didn't need to, just kills everything. GG. GG, well played with that. ByuN, who will claim a 2-0 lead in the series. We're loading to game 3. Winding it back once again, we saw 2-base muta here out of YoungYakov, but I feel like I would still stand by the fact that going into 2-base muta here is heavily reliant on keeping that tech hidden and catching your opponent off guard. Both games, ByuN has been able to scout and confirm, and at times didn't even confirm the scout itself, but the fact that there is no third expansion does kind of does telegraph what you're going for well ahead of time as well. So every game here, ByuN has been able to punish said attempted 2-base muta, and it has not been working out quite well here for YoungYakov. We'll see if we adjust coming into game 3. I hope we do. I hope we see something different here at Yakov. But the pressure is on, because spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbit, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify up to 0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner, we have the Blue Zerg player, himself representing Stony Bulls. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. We're getting into game 3 here, and again, we're hoping for some variance or some diversity here out of YoungYakov. Non-stop 2-base muta here is running into a brick wall that is ByuN, and we'll see if YoungYakov does adjust his build of choice. We'll see. As well in White Rabbit is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rushes and spike rounds. With this, the bases are very spread out if we get into a longer game. That's a big if though, because we haven't really experienced much mid-game. The game has lasted to the point where we're fighting for 4 bases, that is true, but by no means has YoungYakov ever had a stable economy and a stable early to mid-game. It just hasn't happened yet this series. Hasn't happened. As Yakov is opening up with a hatch pull. Once again, later gases. So far, same opener out of YoungYakov every game. So far. Just catching up. As we are going to be opening up here when it comes to White Rabbits, and again, I'm hoping for at least some roach heavy play. We actually started the series talking about roaches, if you remember, how it is safer, especially on larger maps, to go for roach warn into roach heavy play, into a safer early to mid game, building up into 3 bases. I'm a little bit surprised that Yakov didn't embrace that, especially on the smaller maps. Now that we're loading into a larger map, out of context, like in a vacuum, I wouldn't be opposed to 2-base Muta, but because of how the series has panned out, like I'm hoping we don't see that. I mean, we're done with the Mutas, Pappy. We gotta get out of there. Show us something else. Not again, Pappy, not again. As this time, ByuN does go for a standard opener, opening up Reaper, but look at the follow-up here. ByuN mixing things up, going for a second rack, setting up for a 2-on-1, if not even 3 racks. Oh, 3 racks. Okay, ByuN, going for 3 racks. Let's go. This is typically a TVP build. You see this a lot against Protoss. It is a rare build against Zerg. But essentially what's occurring here, we are fixating and building up a heavy bio army into a stim timing, and usually the stim timing hits at around 530 with 16 Marines and 2 medevacs, but here there's going to be an excess of bio, an excess of Marines instead, more than usual. Due to the 3rd racks and due to the delay on the factory and starport. So this can hit very hard. I say you can, it will hit hard. And fun fact, if YoungYakov goes into 2-base Muta again, he will just die. He's pulling out of gas though. He's pulling out of gas, he's joining. Let's go, 3rd base is on the way. Still a delayed 3rd expansion. Ooh, the tumor goes down, but this time we're not staying on 2 bases. This time we're not going into lair tech. Not this time. As the Overlord is going to get called out. Nice catch, supply blocking YoungYakov. Cheeky moves out of ByuN to lift his CC. Just for that high ground vision. And again, now without that Overlord, 0 scouting information. Right? So there's no secondary Overlord to go in. Ling should never get up this ramp. And Yakov will never confirm what's going on. Seeing a Marine count this high this early on, especially because we're hiding the rest, this looks like a 2-on-1. Right? Like we have not yet revealed our hand. ByuN is keeping his cards close to the chest. Yakov is not aware. Oh boy. It's going to be a 443-ish lair timing. So lair first. Lair first into what should be a safety Baneling Nest. Yes, safety Baneling Nest here behind this. Delayed Evo chambers, delayed upgrades. Here comes the move outs. And Yakov will spot this. He will spot the push. He knows. And we need Zerglings. We need Lings, we need Queens. We have 5 Queens so far, soon to be 6, and we need to mass up as many Zerglings as possible. Yeah, 10 Lings on the way, the Queens they push forward. Again, just nice scouting. And we'll see if ByuN commits. He may choose to back off. So far, shaves off a handful of Zerglings. Does what the Queens he sims. Yeah, sims in. He wants a Queen. And he does get, oh, barely one. No, clutch transfuse. Yeah, clutch transfuse. Lings are going down though. Queens are exposed, and he breaks through. Breaks through. 1, 2, 3. All the Queens will fall, and with that, ByuN has done it. ByuN, he has broken YoungYakov, and we're not going to embrace the mid game at all here as drones are going down. The defenses have been broken. We have Lings trickling in, but it's not going to be enough. Not like this. I might barely be enough, but yeah, GG. GG gets called. ByuN will claim the series 3-0, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Unfortunately, YoungYakov, again, he wasn't able to scout. He lost the Overlord across the map. He wasn't able to confirm the commitment into mass bio. We saw YoungYakov go lair first as well, building up. He eventually saw what was going on. He saw the army coming across the map, but he had a limited time to react and to respond. Likewise, limited larva as well, as we had a later 3rd expansion, and with that, he was broken. He was broken then and there. GG, well played. Again, a very... I will say a little bit more one-sided of a finals, but a lot of that came down to the attempted 2-base Muta. We saw YoungYakov struggle to play 2-base Muta both in game 1 and game 2, and it was a struggle. Like it was brutal trying to make that work and trying to keep that hidden and trying to pull that off against ByuN. I do appreciate that we did mix things up here in game 3, but so did ByuN, right? ByuN, he also mixed things up as well. GG. 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 GG, well played. We'll see if ByuN has any thoughts on some of these games and on some of the PTR. Curious. I mentioned before that when it comes to the PTR, I've mainly been looking at Zerg and Protoss just because we've been seeing a lot more fixation, especially on like Protoss related matchups. I haven't actually seen too much of TVZ and TVP on the new PTR. It's only been 5 days, but I haven't experienced too much of it. So I'm curious if ByuN's been laddering actually. Has he? Let's have a look here. It looks like he was yesterday. Yesterday he was laddering a little bit. Oh, look. Mid-game in my StarCraft 2. True. We never got there. We never got there. But I'm asking ByuN to hear his thoughts and to hear maybe his experiences. I'm like, have you played much of the PTR? He's like, no. But I've been practicing optimizing my builds, my build orders. Ah, okay. Asking him, do you have any thoughts on the economy changes? So early in the PTR, only 5 days. How's it feel? How's it feel, baby? I'm curious. When it comes to the build orders and openers, we have seen things slow down a little bit when it comes to the early game. That is true. I did see someone in the chat mention earlier about Larva. And related to Zerg, it's important to bear in mind that that was specifically in regards to early all-ins and aggression. The fact that early aggressive options aren't as viable for Zerg just because of Larva limitations, but that's specifically in regards to being aggressive and going all-in and going for cheeses. That's not necessarily taking into consideration like standard play and more standard back and forth mid-game as well. But that's what that's in regards to, of course. So ByuN's thoughts are he's skeptical about the balance of the patch, but he does think it's necessary for a big change to happen, which I think I would agree with 100%. I think most people would agree with that they are looking for a bigger change. We spoke about this during the podcast on Friday about how right now a lot of matchups are very stale. Like ZVP is the biggest the biggest culprit of that when it comes to just how stagnant and stale the early game is, how it's just get expanded to Cybercore, into Stargate, into Third Base every game, Oracle Opener into Twilight Council from the side of Protoss, and there's nothing that Zerg can really do there. So like ZVP in like the main live version is very, very stale. When it comes to TVZ, recently there have been some developments in the game. TVP is also in a really rough place where you see nothing but all-ins, both for Terran versus Protoss and Zerg versus Protoss, where it's nothing but all-ins in those matchups and very little mid to late game. So I think a lot of people are looking for change, and we'll see. Yeah, and ByuN saying that Terran hasn't changed much. Like, that's true. This is why like I haven't been seeing or looking at or paying attention to many Terran matchups in the PTR, because Terran has changed the least. And he's like, yeah, Terran hasn't really changed much. Like it's mainly changes to Protoss and Zerg with this like balance patch. And ByuN is just expressing something that we've also heard quite a lot of when it comes to the PTR, and that is for the worker change to be happening at the same time as the gateway change as well. It seems pretty brutal for Protoss players because there's a lot to adapt to, right? You got to adapt to the change in the economy, but also a change to specifically the Protoss production as well, and that's just brutal having that layered on each other, which is something that a lot of people have been discussing, of course. ByuN just expressing that as well. True, true. And he's just saying that it's just hard to like judge balance because Protoss have a lot of relearning to do. So it's going to be a little bit shaky seeing the PVX matchups coming into these next like couple of weeks to see like, you know, how they settle and how they stabilize and where the meta leads us as well. For sure. For sure. But again, it's still early days of the PTR. It's been less than a week, but tournaments should be progressing. And when it comes to the upcoming tournament that we have next, it is going to be in around 12 hours time. Around 12 hours time, we have the PTR Cup. PTR Cup is at a much more, hold on, let me just quickly switch to our schedule here. The PTR Cup is going to be at a much more friendly NA and Korean time. That's going to be in around 12 hours here. You can see Wednesday morning. Bam, we can see on the calendar. So Wednesday morning is going to be PTR Cup. That's also going to be in the PTR. And expect to see players like ByuN, Hero, Classic, a lot of the Koreans, and some Europeans that stay up late at night as well. So we should be seeing another PTR tournament tomorrow. And hopefully we get to experience a little bit more of this and sink our teeth a little bit further into it as well. Again, it's a good thing that we're forcing all these players to play on the PTR. Ideally, we gather feedback and we can give said feedback and hopefully some changes when it comes to the PTR as well. There's been a lot of discussions going on about the economy, whether you're for it, whether you're against it. What personally I do appreciate is that there's a lot of discussion going on, and I'm hoping that, again, if the economic changes don't really achieve what we want in the game, I'm hoping that these discussions do bring forth a solution to that, because I think what we mostly want, or at least what I mostly want, isn't necessarily a reversion, but like something to address the issue, which is diversity, early game aggression, the staleness of like the current early to mid game in PVX matchups, for example. And I think that there are some interesting ideas being floated around, but there's no unifying like consensus yet as to what would be like potentially a better change if we didn't have the worker change, but something else to move forward in regards to like macro, in regards to I know there's a lot of discussion regarding or trying to address macro mechanics, so specifically targeting like mules, chrono boosts, and inject larva. I know there's some discussion referring to maybe changing or even removing that. There's other discussions about obviously worker starts. Other discussions about I know that I know that Ravi was floating around certain ideas, some certain wild ideas about that as well. Este Ravi, it's hard to much love to Fear Dragon. I think he was proposing like, what if we moved the bases further away from the mineral patches to make it longer to mine, basically. No, he was like floating that idea around. He was also floating around the idea of worker collision, where workers they can like they right now workers they pass through each other, and the idea of having worker collision instead to also like slow down mining and disrupt the economy. The most obvious downside to that, of course, is that does make worker defense much more difficult. Like, because imagine if a Widowmine drop comes in and you're a Protoss and you have to split against the Widowmine drop. Like, you have all the probes like bouncing off each other as you try to pull away. It's like I'm not for that idea as a solution, but like there are some other like quirky ideas that are floating around to try to achieve the same thing in a different way in regards to like lowering the worker count. But I appreciate that there are ideas out there regardless. Oof. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for so much for the support. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the PTR Cup for some more PTR tournaments, or tomorrow evening for the podcast. We also have the Mantis, the StarCraft, Wardy TV Mondays as well. When it comes to what if any an iPool? Yeah. Like worker collision, I don't think is the way to go for the for sure. But But when it comes to the WTC Monday broadcast, we did fall behind in them, and we want to try to catch up before the patch goes live. We got a backlog of WTC Monday, so we got to burn through them as quickly as possible. We have the GSL finals over the weekend. We have Kung Fu Cup on Friday and StarCraft Evolution League on Saturday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. We'll see you guys next time. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments, or you can support us via donations or tips. Right now, we have had some things occur IRL regarding our pet bunnies, and if you want to help out when it comes to the vet fund, then you can do so there. Otherwise, we appreciate the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Tuna Cup or for the podcast. Until then, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of StarCraft. Check out more of the PTR, explore the changes, explore maybe even some solutions, some things to bring up as well when it comes to maybe things that are not working as intended, or some other ideas. Now would be the time, because it's a pretty crazy patch. The fact that they're changing so much, I would say it's a good thing. What is going to be changed though, we'll see, yet to be determined. Regardless, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some Tuna Cup action. See you then. See you tomorrow. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao. Congratulations to ByuN, of course, for becoming our champion, and we'll see you guys next time. Till then, hasta luego.